And hello.
Will the title and everything on that be able to be changed later so
I
people
will.
know?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely change that after the stream's over here.
Oh, sorry, people.
So, okay.
That's so cute. There's still people here. They're like, we want to see this game.
All right.
You don't want to miss this. Trust me.
All right, we're back. Okay.
All right.
So that should work, and then we can send that link
So it looks
back
like
out
we're
to
all-
everybody.
Currently.
No, I can see it on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, we should be all live again here on
It's
that.
2 out of 3, but I think YouTube takes a little bit.
So, and I will do that.
Oh,
That should
we're
work.
live.
Okay.
I tell you what, sons and daughters.
So hopefully that's
Goodness
all working
gracious.
with everybody again.
This happened to us like 3 streams ago, and it was for Feast for
That was
Omen.
only on YouTube though.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, that was
All right,
like-
so
that was
if
like
everybody, I know there's a couple of people sitting here, so if you guys can hear us now,
Yes, please. How does this sound
please
to you?
let us know.
How is the sound?
This should be correctly working.
Check, mic check. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Chat, do you hear me?
Check 1, check 2,
I'm asking more of the comments, Stan.
Yeah.
3, check 4.
Stan, we don't care about you.
How many checks do we need to do?
Right.
I am not going to share the screen to Skype. I don't know if that's the first time
That's
I've
fine.
shared a screen on Skype, so just
That
in
might be part
case
of it.
that was the just in case that was the last straw.
Paul.
You guys will have to just get your information here.
Paul, remember when
We'll,
we started your D&D thing like
the video is
20
not
minutes late?
choppy. Excellent, Stephen.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's what I want to hear. Thank you, Steven. Thank you.
All right, can you
Oh my
remember
gosh, where the
talk?
heck were we?
Yes. So there's 6 main actions. Well, there's 5 main actions, but there's 6 different things you can do on this board. One of them is muster. For every helmet that you have here, you get to put out one of your troops in the space that you currently occupy.
Yes.
With moving, you can move one person one space, one person, or 3 people one space, one person 3 spaces. You can obviously break those things up in any order that you wish. Attacking is another one of those things that you need to have. You can attack somebody, but then you actually will draw more of these cards. Now, these cards are also do purpose. These cards here show you all of the different. There's different things that you can get. So that's part of the scheme here. You'll draw these, and these will be actions that represent these things that you can add to them when you do those actions later. But also on the bottom here of these cards, you can see right here that there is an empty space. Well, some of these cards have a picture of a fine soldierly gentleman here. That fine soldierly gentleman means that you die.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what that means. But he
And
looks
so
nice when he's killing you.
right. So the combat in here is not a Ameritrash or Amerithrash or whatever you guys want to call them, war game kind of mechanism. It is very Euro,
Yes.
and
it
that is one of the things that Ellen and I appreciate the most.
Dun-dun-dun. That's what I was trying to say earlier. And I was like, Euro, and they're like, it's echoey and choppy. And I was like, Euro. I love that about this.
Right. So you don't know if the card you pull is going to kill you or not.
You don't. You
Now,
never know that.
depending
life.
on your majority in an area, that tells you how many cards you're going to draw. Now, you will always draw 1 card against an opponent, I should say. These rebels here you can kind of just knock off for free.
Yep.
But we'll kind of get to that as we play the game. When I'm attacking an opponent, which in this case is the fine Ellen,
You better not attack me, son.
I would draw
Okay.
1 card. Now, if she has the majority, I would have to draw 2 cards. If she has the majority plus one of these nice little buildings here, the fortress, or the fort, I would have to draw 3 cards.
Right, because it counts as a troop.
But you can only die once, so that's the good thing also. You can only die a maximum of 1 time
Yes. You can
per
only die
attack
once.
action. Okay. Then we go over to the tax action. Tax action is going to be one of the main ways that you're going to be grabbing some of these pieces that are on the board. Each one of these regions will produce a certain resource, and you do have the option of playing with like a random setup, but we were playing with the printed board setup. And you would get the item that's in that zone for every tax point that you use. You can only tax a certain area 1 time, and per round. So there's 4 rounds in the game. And once that's taxed, nobody else can tax it. You can only tax it for the one item that's there. I'll get to some of the buildings that kind of modify those things also. And then building is you get to choose any of these buildings in your pool. So these different buildings do different things, of course. This little fort here, that increases your dominance in an area, so basically counts as a troop in your area, and also causes them to draw more cards. We have the church here. This is a one-time effect. When this goes out, you get to replace any one troop there with one of your own. So basically, you're converting them to your to your faith, I guess. And then we have the little trading post here. And this one here, when you tax a region, you get to tax it for an additional one of that type, or 1 coin.
Yeah,
so
I
I can
love
get
that one.
basically 2 bear skins here, or I can get a bear skin and a coin.
Bear skins. That's my favorite building, I think.
Bear skin.
Double tax, baby.
And then we have a couple of new buildings in the expansion here. The first one here is being the stable. The stable, when built, you gain 3 movement points to use with troops from that region. So if I had a couple of troops here, I can go 1, 2, and 3, something like that. So that's another one-time effect. And then we have the tavern. So the tavern is, when built, you gain X number of coins, with X being the number of structures in that region. Each region can only have 3 structures, and they always have to be different. So you can't have any of the same structures. They could be all 3 my structures, they could be all 3 Ella, they can be a mix of R2s, but the building type can never be repeated. And so you'll get X number of coins depending on how many are in there, including obviously the one you just built. So you can get up to 3 coins. And you also get to play the top card of the scheme discard deck, which is right here in the middle. And Kirk, I don't remember, do we start one in the discard?
No, none of them start in the discard.
Okay, so not even with that. I couldn't remember. Okay.
Correct.
And that's that. So we're also playing with these epic structures here. Citygate, which just opened on Kickstarter. That was one of the stretch goals that were reached. So yes, more content is always good.
Yeah.
So we have 3 different structures here. So you play with 2 structures plus, or the number of structures, excuse me, of players plus 1.
So in our case, it's 3.
That is
I'm a very good
accurate.
counter.
Excellent. You're very good at counting.
Thanks, babe.
Each one of these has a reward, so the person that builds a structure will get the reward in the top. In this case, it's some tax icons. And the build condition is it can only be in one of the central green areas. Now, in a 2-player game, we're only playing in the central green areas anyway. The yellow sections open up with a 3-player, and the brown sections open up with a full complement of 4 players.
That was pretty cool. We played a 4-player game the other day. And just the amount of activity on the board and kicking people out and taking over was really intense.
I love this game at all player counts,
Right.
but I do generally like the combat, especially at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So the effect, once the city gate is done, is you must spend 2 movement points to move 1 troop into the city gate's region. So if you're moving into the city gate, it takes an extra movement. Then we have the Vage chain,
Oh, okay.
which is you can place a troop from your supply on this card, and then once per round per player, after moving a troop into the Vage chain's region, you may place a troop from your supply on this card to draw a scheme card. And then whoever has the most troops on this card at the end of the game will score a point. And points are hard to get in this game, guys. It's,
Yeah,
20s
seriously.
and
It's a
30s.
very low scoring
20s
game.
and 30s is kind of what we've...
Though I scored my highest last time we played, so that was pretty cool.
la-di-da.
So watch out for me.
Logging camp here, the build condition is only in a region that produces wood, so we only have 2 regions currently in this setup that do that. And whoever has the most wood at the end of the game will score a point as well.
Good? More? Is there more?
Oh, there's more.
Oh, wait, there's more?
There's the inheritance cards, so these are like starting cards that you'll get. And they also kind of will start driving this, these rebels normally don't do anything in the base game except for essentially die and stop you from having majority
Yes.
in things. but now they kind of serve as, where things might happen. For instance, the first one here determines where the armed uprising starts. From there, we have opportunities now to capture people. So you have a spot here for your leader, or you have these spots here for rebels and or opponents. And if you've drawn at least one of the Steam cards, then, and it doesn't, basically you don't get injured by it, you don't lose a die by it, you can capture that person and put them on this board. And for every 2 small figures you have, you can get 2 points, or for every 1 figure, which counts basically, or the leader figure will also count as 2 points. So that's a nice little addition. There's a lot of things in here that kind of help push combat, right? So a lot of times you can avoid it, and you still can, but there's a lot more incentive
It wants you to fight.
for fighting.
It kind of wants you to fight a little bit.
Which is cool, because it's a little bit more of a viable strategy in my mind, at least, because fighting is not generally something I do in Euro games, because that's just, that's too Ameritrash.
Yeah.
By the way, for those watching, we're playing with all of the modules and core content, so you don't have to play with all these things. We just figured it'd be more fun to show a wider breadth of items, though.
Absolutely. And actually having the expansions in, it does pack on some more thinking McThinkerton.
Yep.
The base game is so fun by itself, but it feels more like it kind of, what to do, but now with this added stuff in, you're like, now what?
Right.
Kind of have that, like...
And I think it's more even that there's, more strategies to pursue. A lot of what's added here is, there's some things that are just kind of different, but a lot of the mechanisms more or less stay the same. So you're still wanting to fight people, but now you just get different rewards for fighting people. And you'll want to build buildings. Well, now we have more options of buildings to do. Plus, with these, great buildings, those are essentially buildings that anybody can create, and then anybody can score off of also.
Yeah, very cool. Also, these cards smell amazing.
Yes. And
hey, Randy, is it possible that your computer or another microphone is picking you up? It sounds like people are saying you're getting picked up in 2 mics.
Oh, maybe this...
I don't see how that would be the case.
Who are you talking to? Because I only see Facebook on our stream. Does YouTube have?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like the restream is, or whatever you were using earlier, isn't funneling the comments back and forth. These are YouTube comments.
Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing anything from YouTube. I was gonna say it's quiet out
I
there
can pull up
tonight.
YouTube chat as well.
Yeah.
This is just
They say both Randy and Ellen both have very bad reverb, is what it was just a comment.
okay. Well, we've tested all these settings here on multiple streams without any issue. I just don't understand why all of a sudden that would be all different. Well, I can start to talk quieter. How about that? I'll talk quieter. My microphone creaks. I'm not sure what that means.
Someone's suggesting turning off one mic.
Well, we've got mics. Okay.
You and Ellen both have mics hanging from the ceiling. I think they're saying that maybe both of the mics are picking you up.
That could be, but like I said, we've tried this before and had no issues with it at all.
Yeah, I mean,
so
this
I'm
is,
not really sure
yeah,
why.
this is how we always stream, but I guess you can turn off mine or something, and I can just yell.
That our lovely guests will fill in things as I mess up on the expansions. But the game, Rurik, I'm listening to it right now, Kirk, and it's been out for a little over a year now.
That sounds perfect
It's
to
like
me.
an area controls, but it's more like an area majority game. So. Yeah, no, Kirk, I'm sorry, but I'm hearing it right now on this, and I'm not seeing anything.
Hi, Misty Mountain Jack. She's
I hear you differently because I'm hearing you on Skype. I'm just saying what people are saying in the
No,
chat.
I
don't know.
understand what you're saying, but I don't see how that's possible. I
Can
really
you just
don't.
turn off mine?
But I just listened back to it right now.
Do you want to just turn mine off then?
I can try that, but
And
I
I
don't
can
see why
just-
that would be all of a sudden anything. And I say that because most of your actions get cheaper to compact, and that is really odd, because, I mean, there's no different settings. I don't
Sorry, guys, we're listening to
I'm
this.
hearing the echo now. I don't know why that is all of a sudden. Yeah.
Tonight
Just
is
a
the
little bit.
night of
All right.
nights.
Well, we're gonna try that then. If people are having an issue with that, I am
I'll
going
just yell
to
really loud.
do this.
Just any excuse to yell.
I mean, right? I got 4 boys. I ain't got no problem doing that.
Okay.
Lord of mercy.
Lord have mercy is right.
I'm so sorry, Kurt
Happy-
and Stan. You guys.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, right?
Seriously.
We've been waiting to
It's
stream
alright.
this for so long.
You
Talking
gotta
about
power
it,
through sometimes.
planning it.
Well, because of the technical difficulties, now Stan does get to serenade us with that Russian folk song.
Oh, man.
Yes.
I forgot that the Alan sings. I forgot for a second because last time we were playing a game, we were like singing back and forth.
Yeah.
I remember what it was. We were playing like,
What was that?
was it Shadow Kingdom?
Yeah.
We kept like
I mean,
singing
frankly, I
songs.
think we should do a duet soon. All right.
Oh man, I can carry a tune only in the bucket.
Only the bucket. All right, we're almost.
Thanks for everyone who's watching. We're glad to have you here, and thanks for your support and interest in Rurik.
Absolutely. That actually does. I do have a question for Stan, actually, because I am
Yeah.
curious about this. When you made this game, did you have an expansion in mind right away, or is this something that came later?
No, this is all. This was all after we talked about doing an expansion. We had a bunch of stuff that didn't make it to the first game, but there was.
Oh,
I don't think any of it made it here either. All the things that we kind of rejected
Uh-huh.
and put a pin in, we ended up not going back to.
really? So you had even more stuff out there than the expansion
Yeah,
stuff now?
so what I did, it was actually like I looked at all the stuff that was kind of like most fun to do
Yeah.
and all the stuff that was pretty much perfect. And so I felt like the scoring was pretty much perfect
Yeah.
and like the planning board. So I wouldn't touch that,
Okay.
as well as the map itself. I did try to like design something for the map,
Yeah.
like a map extension,
Oh.
but it just didn't work well.
Yeah.
So I just went back to like, what else can I do that doesn't mess with those parts? And I felt like Warfare could be, made a little bit more robust.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like building was really fun, and it's varied. But if you played it, like I've played it many, obviously times, and I felt like that would be cool to have options.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of went with it. And then as far as the inheritance goes, I always felt that asymmetric start sometimes is a good thing when done
Absolutely.
correctly. It's not always done correctly,
Right.
but I think when it is done well, it's a good thing because you start a little bit faster out of the gate
Definitely.
with the game. You don't spend like first couple of actions just getting resources.
Yeah,
Like
I
it
love
starts
that.
with a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only downside to that is it requires pre-knowledge because the game asks you to make a decision
Yes.
up front. If it's your first time, probably not. Probably not the best.
Right.
Know the game at least from one playthrough. I think it's just a good thing because you're just a little bit faster. And the rebels were like the late thing after everything else was designed. We're talking about different rebel things and. Sort of we kept building on rebels. Like at first it was just like, okay, what if they did like one thing? Well, what if they did two things? Well, what if you could defeat him? What if they would spawn? How would they spawn? How would they like move around the board? And then, well, can we tie it with the inheritance cards? Okay, and so that was like the last thing I think that we all worked on is getting like the rebels right. But yeah, it was all pretty much after we decided to go forward because for a while we weren't sure how we were gonna handle the expansion, but once we decided we were doing it, yeah, pretty much put it all
And
together.
how hard was that? Like when you had an idea and you're like, I'm gonna go for this, but then you put a pin in it, you're like, no, it's just not gonna work right now. Was that really hard to put that off to the side, or did you keep creeping back to it and like, well, can we work it in, or did you just let it go?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a little bit of back and
Yeah.
forth, but it's easier to work with a complete design. When something is already completed, there's less uncertainty. You just have to make sure you don't mess it
Yeah.
up,
Interesting.
So, but a little bit easier because you already have all the tools in
Yeah.
place, so you're just building on the foundation as opposed to just like starting from
Right.
scratch.
All right, so we're gonna go with this audio here. If anything else is screwy, I couldn't tell you what else is going on here. I mean, everything is literally the same as before. We turned off one of the mics, So
Yeah, does this sound okay now?
Did you see the comment about potentially Skype audio coming through? Is that
I did check that out, and there's no chance of that because I have them through NDI sources. So those are all separate, complete audio tracks coming in.
I'm nodding like I know what that means.
And when we're not talking, there's
NDI,
the volume.
Non-disclosure or something.
Yeah, when Ellen's not talking, there's no volume coming into that whatsoever.
When I'm not talking?
So one thing that maybe some people don't know is this expansion has had a little bit of history to it. The Kickstarter was going to be launched earlier this year. We had if you listen to an interview I did earlier this week, or I actually linked it in my first update on the Kickstarter, it was actually licensed by a much larger publisher who was going to put it on Kickstarter this year. Then COVID changed their timelines and priorities, and we ended up getting the license back for Rurik maybe 2 months ago, and then raced to the finish to get this Kickstarter together ourselves. So the game's been done for a while, the art's been done for a while. We were just waiting for figuring out how we could launch it, and we had to keep the news under wraps until this publisher was going to announce it as their release, and then COVID changed so many things in the world, and it included this. So then
it's so crazy.
Wow.
We had to remain quiet until we got it back, and then full steam ahead.
Wow, unbelievable. And you know what? I remember seeing a not an advertisement, like a little sneak peek of Rurik when it first was coming out. Like, what was that, a year ago, year and a half, something like that? And the artwork caught my eye because it was so beautiful, and I love this kind of art and texture and visual. It's real life, but the way it's done almost makes it feel like fantastical. It's just warm and rich. And so anyways, because of the art, I kept my eye on the game like for a super long time. So then we were at a convention. I think we were at, was it Midwinter Con? No, Gamehole Con. And we saw Kirk
Gamehole
there,
Con.
yeah. And you gave us the game and like the mat and the metal coins and everything. That was amazing. I was so excited. I couldn't believe this game that I was like watching like a creeper for a super long time. It was like in my hands. And it was so much better than I even...
Right.
So did you guys have a say in the art, or was that totally like a...
Oh yeah, we spent a ton of time talking about it. First of all, Kirk has an art director named Yorgo. He's a guy from Greece who's been doing like board game stuff for a while. He's an artist, graphic designer, and art director. He's really good. Then Kirk spent a ton of time on it, and then I've been doing as much as I can with as far as like sending them, like historical reference pictures, like digging it up and then just saying like, okay, that looks a little off, or that looks. I mean, the artist himself is Ukrainian, so he understands this really well. It's easy year with him because he sort of already like has the background culturally.
Oh, cool.
Like it would be a lot harder for me to like for someone who was just approaching it from a complete new artist standpoint. It would be very difficult, I think, to explain all the little tiny details. But Yaroslav, he knows it, so he's just more or less like bigger stuff we tell him.
Amazing.
But yeah, we like Kirk posted a couple of things and it like shows the journey. It starts with like half dozen sketches, and then we'll whittle it down to a couple, and then like one, and then it starts doing pencil and and color, and it's just crazy. Like it's very involved, and every single illustration you see in the game, like it's a lot of them, and every single one pretty much through this process. There wasn't anything that we're just like, yeah, just draw this and just send it when it's done. Like every card back, every prints, everything you see pretty much went through this like multi-stage where he sends it to us, we send feedback, I chime in, the art director does like a thorough look at it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool process, but it's why games take a while to get done. That's right.
Amazing. I love that.
Each illustration takes somewhere between 3 and 5 weeks to complete.
Oh my gosh.
It's high quality.
The art has always been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought that. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to continue with what we've got here. So the Art Uprising, this is really the last module that we're playing with here. So there's a few different ones that these can do. Basically, the rebels will take on a new persona, if you will, and they'll follow kind of a new card, essentially. So this one we're playing with is the Armed Uprising. When attacking a rebel, you must check for a casualty as if attacking the opponent. So basically, the rebels are now opponents. They're not pushovers anymore. And but you do not advance on the warfare track because that still is only
That was what I was
for
wondering
the
about.
players.
Okay.
Once they're defeated, if you have 4 defeated rebels, then this card essentially goes away. So as you're going up, this little board here, this is going to be your main way of scoring, and this is a one-way train here. It's a one-way check valve. If you get up on any one of these tracks here, you will never have to go back down. So ruling, again, is having majority in certain regions, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 regions securing Novgorod, I'm terrible at my Russian, and Kiev. And then building is adjacent buildings that you have out here, anywhere from 2 to 7, and trade is the items that you collect here on your boat. There's all the way up to 11, which is the maximum on the trade board. So you will get that many points at the end of the game, however far that you were able to achieve on those given tracks. And this is the warfare track. This is the first, second place track. So first place gets 3 points, second place gets 1, third place gets nothing. In addition, these are extra incentives again in the new expansion that help you that promote you towards attacking people. So for this instance, here's a bear, a couple of logs, a couple of fish, a couple of coins, and then a card. So I think we're ready to start. And we will take our inheritance cards in here. These are almost like starting cards, like I mentioned before. And we will get all these beautiful items here. So I've got here a fish and a log and 3 coins.
How come you don't have any with a check on them and I do? An X out. What does this mean? I gotta get rid of 2 coins or something?
Yes.
Yeah, some of them cost. Some of them you have to pay cost. They're usually really good though, so it's usually worth it.
Right.
But I don't have
But,
to.
So you'll get
You start with 2 coins.
you'll get extra. You'll get some of these cards, right?
Yeah, you both should have already started with 2
Yeah.
coins and 2 troops, and you do the inheritance.
Yes.
Yeah, you get 2 coins and 2 troops. On top of the 3 cards, you choose 2 cards out of 3, and some give you money, but some
Right.
cost money. But if you don't want the card you chose, you can sell it for 2
I'm
coins.
doing the first
Oh.
2 cards.
You'll just have
Okay, I'm gonna do.
a ton of money.
So I can put this guy into my guys.
So he will go in this area. Whenever it's one that places troops, he has to go into that
Where
area.
is that place?
Yeah, so it's specific. Yeah, it's specific to a
Yeah.
But you can
Or you
spend,
can spend 1
extra
coin to put it
right, you can
anywhere.
spend an extra coin to put them anywhere if you want.
I'm cool with that place.
Okay. And
I'll
what's
spend
the other
my
one
coin.
you're going to pick?
And then I will spend the coin that I just put into my hands. And I'll take, get another dude and
Sure.
put him. Hold on, where's Kiev? These are both the same, so hold on.
Oh,
Technically, y'all should have seeded the board with your
oh,
troops
do you see
before
it
this.
first? Okay.
I have to
We'll
go one at a
concede
time.
first, too.
Right, so then, because you
You
can
see them
kind
based off of
of,
like
you
the
know,
card that you're
kind
doing.
of surprise the opponent then, because you seed it first and then you
Right,
drop
right.
extra stuff. And so
Go
that's what I'm
first.
talking about. Like, it asks you to make decisions up front, and obviously you guys have played it, but you can see how it's like, okay, you can trick them into thinking you're not going somewhere because your card's dropping troops and buildings in that
Right.
area.
Yay.
So what we did here is you
It's
seed them
helpful for-
with two of your individual people, and then your last one you place as your leader.
What were you saying, Kirk?
For the viewers, for them to see your cards, though, that's not a bad thing. But usually they would be secret inheritance cards. Your
Yes.
opponents wouldn't know what you're playing until you play
Right,
them one at a
right.
time.
And I also wouldn't know that I got this and I wanted to put my guy in Kiev.
Put them in Kiev.
So that's this an extra one then, yeah? Okay, so then I
Yeah, you
did
get
that
2 different
card.
cards.
I
That,
did this
um,
card,
allows
and then
you to
this
do
one
that.
goes away because I didn't choose it.
But that one also gets you another card, right? Doesn't that get you one of these?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love how the beginning now works out with these cards. I don't think I ever would want to play without it unless I had like a completely new player that I was teaching the game to.
Yeah, I like the extra,
think I'll be
extra
like-
boost at the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
So according to this card, I think I already completed it. Is that
Well,
true?
you can do it at the end of
Alright.
your. Well, that's you have to actually get rid of those people if you want to do that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay. I was like, I got 3 guys. All right.
I mean, you can do it early, but it might hurt you
Yeah.
to remove 3
I
guys in your
definitely
first
don't want to
round.
do that. So I guess, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the last I saw was that we sound bad, so maybe we just need to speak up when we talk, because I think we're just
Yeah.
far away from us. I just want to make sure that you
the
hear what
last
we're
thing they
doing.
said was it was good enough.
Okay.
All right, so I am going to go first.
I love technology.
So we are going to go to the strategy phase here, where I'm going to place one of my advisors.
Ay.
And let's see here.
Get my guys out of the little
I'm going to go
slot.
ahead and put a 4 on the old build track here.
Okay.
So for those not familiar with how to play, you can pick the advisors in any order you want to plan them with.
Absolutely.
Because I always get this part screwed up. Okay. Alright.
Now, I don't know, Randy. Did you mention the Rebel Camp, which is a building on the map, and it's like a starting off point where they spawn?
Yes, I did mention that when I was
Did you
Okay.
mention
when I
that?
talked about.
Sorry,
No,
Possibly in our last
that was pretty early, but yeah, Volan, and that's why it started here because of one of these inheritance cards that we drew. Okay, one
Yeah.
muster, huh? You're not a big fan of mustering, are you?
I mean, honestly,
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I want to muster here. I'm going to bump you down with my 2. So again, remember, anytime you put something higher, it bumps them down, but you can never get bumped off the track. You can see at the bottom here, though, you have to start paying to do some of these. Now, if for any reason you decided that you didn't want to do the action that you could do,
Yep.
or you can't, for instance, you got to pay money, you can decide to just pick up that advisor and get a coin discount instead.
the mat quality is amazing. It's definitely one of my favorite game mats out there. I mean, look at that sucker. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, the mat is
Yeah.
cool.
I couldn't believe Kirk threw that in first. He's like, here, you guys can have a mat too. I was like, yes, I'll take that.
I'm
Off
on
your
the old
hands.
tax-a-rooney.
Mine got scratched by my cat.
Just a scratching post.
Well, you know, there's an easy solution to that,
Okay.
Stan. You just don't have cats.
No,
Yeah, right?
that's terrible.
That's terrible.
Thing to say to a cat owner.
I figured I had.
I feel like
to.
cat
I
owners
don't-
are so personal to their cats. Like it's so.
It's so protective. They're like your fur babies.
Yeah. I have a dog and I'm like, he's great. He's actually laying by my feet right now. He follows
Yeah, no,
me
this
around
playmat
everywhere.
is stitched on the outside. It's thick. It's got a little bit of a squish to it, and the resolution. You know, a lot of times on some of these
Yes,
custom
yeah.
mats, the resolution's not very high. The resolution on this mat is very, very nice.
Shoot, what do I want to do here?
You're gonna bump somebody with you got your finger in them coins.
I'm
I'm
like,
nervous.
okay.
Stan, sorry, I was digging your cats. I just had.
No, I know. They're not really my babies. Like I have an actual kid, so I know the difference.
Right? Okay, I really want to
Yeah.
get tax too. So I'd have to use 2 coins to bump you down to make it a 6.
Yeah, you would.
Or I can just go like that.
Or you can just get the single
I'll
tap.
just do that. That's fine. Yay! We
Excellent.
placed our dudes.
So now
That
that
is, and this is the most strategic part of the game. Well, until the expansion came in.
Yeah, there's so much
So,
going on in
Are
this
you
board.
first player? I
Randy's.
forgot.
I am.
Oh, Randy.
Yeah, Isaac, hello. And also, yes, you do need the mat.
So in the action phase now, on our turn, we're going to move the lowest number and go from there. So remember, that's when we mentioned this is going to be the last thing you do. You know, your 5
Yep.
guy. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1. So that's the scheme. And this lets me actually not just take first player, I can give first player to somebody. Because in this game, sometimes you don't necessarily
Yeah.
want to be first player.
I have found that I don't love to be first.
Being last on this little board right here is not a bad thing.
No.
But being last when you're kind of implementing some of your actions here is not a great thing.
Yeah, so you giving me the bear, you keeping the bear.
I'm gonna give you the bear this
Take the
time.
bear. It's a very cute bear, so it does make me feel a little better. Alright, you get
All right,
cards.
and I get to draw 3 cards. Now I can draw these cards from either deck. There's 2 decks out. And what's nice about this is I draw 3 cards. I pick one of those cards. And I can put these cards back on that same deck in any order I want. So I now know which cards on the bottom here can kill people and not kill people. So it's kind of nice. I can kind of almost set myself up.
Why does that instantly make me mad?
I think
And that's
Yeah,
why
that's
there
a
is
good
two
one.
piles. It's kind
Right.
of funny. Like I've heard some reviewers say he was talking about the game and he said, "Well, I don't know why there's two piles of them." And I'm like, I wonder if they actually played the
Yeah.
game very thoroughly, because clearly you looked at pile
Right.
A, might not want to go there.
Exactly,
So
and
it like the two pile thing is sort of necessary. Otherwise, it's kind of a checkmate to all the
Right.
other
And
players.
say that you put you put a card over here that has a guy in the bottom that's is going to kill somebody. You're assuming that
Right.
you're hoping that your teammate picks that card. But if they don't, they pick from this deck.
Right.
You at least still have a chance of not drawing that card yourself.
Right.
You know.
But there's also like if I'm planning to attack, I might not, I might actually stack it so it's injury free, because I'm gonna attack myself. So it makes you wonder.
Yeah, right. It has that little element of intrigue.
Trade and intrigue.
All right, here I
it's a
go.
different game. Trade and
I'm
intrigue is a
taking-
different game.
Yeah. What? So one, which was 2 hats. 2 little caps.
2 old caps. So you can populate
1,
those in
2.
anywhere that you have a thing.
Your turn.
This is probably a good time to mention
Thanks
what
for
our
making me bigger,
leaders
Randy.
do. I have Gleb. So once per round, after attacking in Gleb's region with no casualties, I get to gain 2 movement points to use with any of my troops. So any battles that I win in the same region as my guy here, I get some extra movement.
And mine, Theophana, did I say that wrong? I don't know. Once per round, after you finish spending tax points on your turn, if you taxed in her region, you may move her to an adjacent region or gain 1 coin from the supply.
All about the tax.
She's a beast. All right, look out.
I mean, tax is necessary. Are you overtaxing your people, or are you a fair ruler?
I am overtaxing the heck out of them.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. All right, so next tier is 2, so I get the muster as well, but I get to muster 3 people because I'm just that much better.
3 mustards. Mustard packets.
We're gonna go like that. We're gonna split up the troops.
That sounds
3 and
great.
3.
So now I take my 2 dude.
You do.
2 dude. Oh, I have that like dude in my head so much.
Dude.
Bill and Ted's excellent.
Yeah, we watched Bill and Ted, the first and second one here, getting ready for the third one.
I can't believe how ridiculous that second movie is.
The second
Like,
one's more
what
ridiculous
is
than I remember.
happening right now? It kind of made me feel weak. Okay, I'm gonna fight him.
Okay, so now
I know.
he's not free.
What?
He's not free to fight anymore. So
Okay.
now you have to draw a card.
Yeah, they're fighting back because it's armed
That's
up, right?
right. Shoot.
It's okay. You got plenty of
So
troops.
maybe you're better off going after Randy.
You have to move first.
Okay.
You can't do that now.
All right, here I go. What do I do? Do I look at the bottom or no?
Well, you get the thing regardless, yeah.
Okay.
So on the bottom of each one of these rebel troops, they have an extra little item that's on the bottom. What do you
It's a
got? 2
little
coins?
fishy.
Oh,
It's a
fish. So you get a fish from the supply.
Hello. Hello, hello,
That goes right
hello.
on your-
Put that in my little place for my
And then you have to draw a card. Which
Okay.
one? The one that I know that stuff's
The one
in?
that's clearly in front of me. Oh, all right. Do I have to show this
You have to
immediately?
show it, yeah.
Okay. It is a
Does it
hat.
kill you? Well, you don't
mustard
get a
hat.
hat. You just get to find out if you die or
Oh,
not.
I don't die.
You don't die. Excellent.
I'm safe.
And then you get to capture him.
Are you gonna try to capture it?
Well,
is there a difference between-
since it's an armed thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Kirk, she had to draw one, and she was safe, so wouldn't she be able to automatically capture it?
You get to flip one more. If
Oh, you
wanna
do
try
have
to
to flip
capture
one
it.
more.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
You gonna do it again?
Yep.
You
I'm
gonna
feeling
die?
brave.
Oh,
Yes.
son of a gun. All right,
Gosh.
capture that bad boy.
So good at this game.
Huh.
Okay, cool.
Drag him back to
That's
your
right. He's
dungeon.
in my dungeon now, which is so cute, by the way.
That's
This
what
is
you
the
get for
cutest
armed,
dungeon I've ever
for
seen.
being armed. I mean, seriously, people.
You should show how the dungeon fits inside of the top of that tray,
What? What do you mean?
the player tray.
Oh,
What?
Your player tray where the pieces go, the dungeon
Are you
sits in
serious?
there for
Why didn't
people
I
that
ever
have
see
those.
that?
I didn't know that.
Like this thingy?
Yeah, you put it in the top, and then you got this
Shut
3D
up. Are you
dungeon.
kidding?
Then.
Oh.
Can I tell you, this is the
Is
coolest
that in the
dang
rules? Did I miss that in the
game.
rule book?
There's a
As far as
note in the
packing.
rules that says if you have those trays, that you
Yeah,
can
I'm
do
doing
it.
it. Look at that 3D dungeon.
Interesting.
He can't climb out now.
It's an Easter egg. It's a component
That's
Easter egg.
so
That's really
cool,
neat.
though. No, honestly, the packing of
You
this
have
game
one
is
more.
the prettiest little
You
thing.
have one more attack point.
I have one more attack point?
Yeah, you get 2 swords.
Shit, man. This guy right here.
Sure.
Well, Powie, I get another fish.
Oh, you're a fish
I
crazy.
have a fish problem. Okay.
Okay.
And-
Yeah, Randy, it does. You maybe double guessed myself. On page 9, it does say note if you have the player trays from the base game Kickstarter edition.
That
You may
sounds,
find it enjoyable to
that sounds
place your dungeon
somewhat
map.
familiar.
I do not
I
die.
think that when I read it, I didn't understand what that meant.
I'm gonna do this again.
That
You're a
was,
survivor.
I'm feeling lucky.
did you just draw 4
Yes,
bear
I
cards in a
did.
row?
I'm like,
Come
let's
on.
just do this. So this little guy goes into my jail, and now I get.
Now at the end of the round, you'll be able to trade them in
For 2 points.
4 points. Yeah.
I'm already winning. I'm so good at this.
Aren't you so good at everything else?
And for those wondering, there are a larger percentage of schemes with casualties in the expansion, and there are 3 cards that have double casualties. So the risk is higher of something bad happening, and Ellen's just getting lucky
We've
right
been
now.
sitting here for an hour trying to get the stream to work. I'm like, I'm gonna take my aggression out on this little rebel
This little
dude.
freaking thing.
It worked out, man.
All right, number 4 for me. So I get 1 build point. So I rule both of the regions that I'm in. So either one of those regions is only going to cost me 1 build point to put something out. And I'm going to put this little trading hut out here. So that's the one that lets me double my taxing. Which, if you remember, I have a little tax man here.
You do.
And
That's
hopefully I'm
adorable.
going to utilize that.
So I will take my 4 off because he's next, and that's 1 tax,
Mhm.
which, dang it, I did it in the wrong order again.
Oh, you
I wanted to get my
wanted to
building
build
out.
first.
Gosh dang it, Stan!
Well, you've been slaying it so far with the
Yeah,
captures
seriously,
and
I'm
stuff.
not playing too much here.
I
You're-
have.
Just embrace your inner warrior
I'm just here to kill, okay?
Xena warrior princess.
or capture.
Capturing's for losers. No, I'm kidding. No, I did capture twice. What am I saying? I'm gonna take the stone just because I'm already in 2 wood regions and I feel like it'll be easier to get.
Then I know where I'm attacking next. No, I'm joking. Alright, tax. So I have 2 tax points. I'm going to definitely tax this one. And I'm going to choose to take an additional fish.
Smart.
So that fills up my little fish market over here.
You filled up already? How did you do that?
Oh, I started with a fish.
Oh, cheater.
No, that wasn't cheating.
Cheater.
And then I'll spend my other tax point here for a singular bear. So I now have 2.
Gosh, you were like a bearskin hoarder. Every time you
Yep.
play this, you're like hovering.
Are you playing with trade boon
Yes,
tokens?
so I get a trade boon now,
Oh.
so I have a wild resource.
So when 1 fills up, you get a trade boon, correct? That's what that
Only
works.
in the middle
Just the 3 middle ones.
Oh,
Just the
dang
middle
it.
3, yeah. Alright, Ellen, build.
Stressing me out, dude. Okay. I'm gonna build a bear workshop. Where are my houses? Here we go. So, I'm not gonna convert anybody. I could.
You could convert him and not have to, yeah.
And not
You
have
don't
to
get
fight
the
him.
you don't get the reward or anything. You just get an extra
Oh.
troop out.
Right, okay. I think I'm gonna tax.
Sure.
Because I would like to be able.
You do the next round.
Yeah.
All right.
Wood or wood.
Wood.
Here, it doesn't actually have to be. Oh no, you know what? If I do this one, my ability. So
Well, yeah, you'll be able to tax and then you
if
get
I
to
tax in
move
the
here.
area she's in, I can move her. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there. My little tent.
And then you get 1 more build point.
Shut up! That's so cool. Okay, I'm gonna. Now, what's the point of capturing him?
You're not capturing him, you're converting him. So you're getting
I'll
rid
just
of a
put my
troop to
troop
put your
out.
own troop out.
Yeah, let's do that. But I don't get the little thing. Can I look at what it was?
Sure. What is
If
it?
you're allowed to.
Look at what you
It's a
missed.
honeycomb.
Sander, to your comment, yes, you always have to flip 1 card if you want to attempt to capture. In this module, they were playing against the armed uprising, who forces them to flip 1
Yeah.
card when they attack the
Yes.
rebels. So
Jerks.
there was no optional flip she had to do there. It was required flip. But if it was just normally attacking the rebels, she could have optionally flipped
Mhm.
1 to then have the opportunity to do a casual or a capture attempt.
Excellent. All right, so now that is done with the action phase. Now, we didn't do it in this round, but you can always complete 1 card per turn. And so you never. So, for instance, I could have used my blue card here as an extra ability. I didn't need to do that. Ellen can complete an objective
Yeah.
on the end of any turn. You can also use some of these conversion tokens, which we haven't talked about yet. These conversion tokens, there's a muster, a build, and the new expansion here, there's an extra attack point, and you have to discard the things to get those extras. So, for instance, this one is a wood or a stone and a miscellaneous resource. This one is a captured troop, and then 2 coins. Those are all different options you can do on your turn in addition.
Are you guys getting YouTube comments? Because we don't have it up over here.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah, I've responded to some of them.
All right, so then we'll go to the claim phase. Sure.
Y'all.
The claim phase. So now we go up, and this is the claim track here, and we're going to go up on those things depending on the number of regions. So in the first one here is rule. I happen to rule 2 regions. Ellen rules 3 regions, so she goes up there. And remember, these will never go down. If she loses these, they still stay.
I absolutely love that, by the way, you guys.
It's super nice because you can kind of like really like spread out super fast, and then maybe you'll lose some troops for doing that.
Yeah.
But it really shoots you up the track.
Keep your dang points. Look at that.
Build. I only have 1, so I didn't get nothing. Ellen did not do adjacent regions.
Oh, dang it. I didn't even
So
look
she's
at
not
that.
currently. Yeah, but once you get it in the middle there, you're
Yeah,
fine. And then trade goods,
You get an extra
I
coin.
have extra 5.
I get an extra coin?
Because you didn't get on the build
right.
track, it
True,
actually
true,
plays in your favor.
Right, because you'll get coins
Yep.
for this at the end
I
of it. So
forgot.
how many goods do you have? 3, so you get to go up there.
Silly.
And then this would obviously go up during the game, but none of us have attacked each other yet.
Yet.
Now you get to earn income. So for every marker that didn't go up on a track, you get a coin for. So I get 2, Ellen gets 2. And then for every full column, so I happen to have a full column of fish,
Yep, and I happen
a
to
full
not.
column of bears. So bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Bears, beads.
Because I'm rich, I've got 8 coins. How many
Yeah,
coins
what
do
the
you get?
heck are you doing? Robbing banks?
Oh man, you're lame.
A column of bears. Is that what you call a group of bears?
A
A column of bears.
A column of gaggle bears. And then we get to choose deed cards. So you'll get these deed cards. Ellen happened to start with one. But now you get to pick these deed cards in player order. I have Ellen is now first player, so Ellen,
Yes, thank you for
can
that
choose one first.
immense honor.
There's all sorts of different ones here, and so you have to do whatever it is at the top, and then you get the reward at the bottom. And then at the top right of these cards, you can also see that there's a point value. That's another excellent way of scoring points is by completing these deed cards. And usually you can complete a bunch of these as you want, but you'll only get 3 of them naturally throughout the game. There are other cards that will allow you to get extra.
What does Create Republic mean?
Create Republic. So it looks like you have to. This one's new, so I think you create Republic. This is the one where you have to have presence, or you have to have rule in these 3.
Yeah, you have to roll those 3.
Well, what are they? Let me see it. I got.
There are 3 non-connected regions.
Okay, I got that one.
Oh, okay.
I got not that one, and I got not that one.
That's right.
But I'm gonna take it anyway.
Okay. All right.
I'm feeling strong
Then
enough.
the new one comes out, so I can look as well.
Wait, what the heck is this one?
I'm all about them fish.
Alan, also you can release your prisoners at this time to collect 2 points.
Stan,
Yes.
you're the man.
Yes.
I'm gonna do that.
And the 2 you release just go sit on your household mat. You could then later redeem them with your conversion token, for example.
Or for different deeds. So they're super double
Oh,
useful.
dang. I kind of want the points.
Do it.
And then don't forget to for the rebels, they will spawn a
Yes.
new rebel.
Yes, sir. I'm going to take the Peacemaker. So if I lose 2 people in a ruled region, I get to do a benefit.
So these 2 dudes, how do I collect the points? Because I know the points are like things that
There's point
just...
tokens right here.
No. Oh,
Yep.
what?
We thought of it. We thought of it.
I mean,
Jesus.
optionally, you can just put the point tattoos on your arm. That's, oh, did I just spoil a stretch goal? Sorry.
Oh, point
Or
tattoo.
draw with a Sharpie right on the
Whoa.
back.
Excellent.
Whoa.
Yes. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know why the stutter. It's not coming from OBS, which is a
Yeah,
special reason. There's some kind of
Yeah,
goofiness
I
going
got
on.
nothing. Gosh, I thought you were literally just saying that because...
So then we move on to the refresh conversion token. So that's any of these tokens here. If we used any of them, they would refresh now because,
Did not.
again, they can only be used once per round. And then we replenish any of the goods here that are out here. So I took a bear and a
Oh, yeah.
fish. Alan took a rock.
By the way, did you muster a rebel for the rebel camp?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Yeah.
That still happens in the
Technically, it happened at the start of the phase,
Oh.
but it's
most release captures.
it may theoretically impact how many regions you rule, but
Got it. Okay, so then we
So
just muster
since-
a rebel here in the new area. I don't see that on the turn card. Sorry to description.
It's on page 10 of the rules.
Okay. And then replenish goods, which we did, and then advance the game marker. And then once we get to rounds 3 and 4, we'll get some extra advisors.
So technically, you don't place it in that region because there's already a rebel in that region. It'll go to a random region by flipping the top
That's
inheritance
right,
card.
that's
Oh
right.
my goodness.
Real stuff.
It's almost like you know this game pretty good. It's weird.
And in case you're wondering, if anyone watching wondering the reason, so if you don't want there to be a random spawn of a rebel, then you should kill the rebel in the rebel camp region, so that
Oh,
way it will
that's
spawn
smart.
there. But if you're not concerned about that, then it may just pop up anywhere and
I'm
mess
gonna
with
kill
you.
him. Take that
Alright,
little
you
guy out.
get to place your advisor first
Yes.
down in a brand new turn. Brand new
Oh my
round.
gosh, I'm scared that I'm gonna do this wrong. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm so scared. I'm so scared.
Ellen gets so nervous during this round.
Because I screwed up every time.
So when we played this game, just like us, we spent so much time on this
So
thing.
much.
We
Our
basically
4-player game
doubled
was
probably the amount of time that you're supposed to play this game
ridiculous.
because we concentrate so hard on this board. But we will not make everybody suffer through that.
We won't. We definitely won't.
Sometimes what I like to do is I like to think of a thing I want to do last instead of
Yes.
thinking of the first
Right.
thing I want to do. I'm like, well, what do I want to do at the very end? And then it sort of makes it a little bit easier. Because if it's just like, well, do I want to do this first or that first? But usually your last thing is a little clearer. Sometimes it's like, well, I don't care about this until
Right,
the
this is the
very
thing
end.
that I have to get done also, right?
Right.
Gosh, I wish that helped me, Stan. I'm still sitting here like, who am I and what are my dreams? Okay.
You know, if you really have trouble making the decisions, you could pull out the solo cards and follow the bidding patterns on those and play that
Oh, there
way.
you go.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
control
Don't tempt me,
some
Frodo.
automas, yeah.
I guess I'm done.
But
I don't know.
well, Ellen could hold that under the table and you wouldn't even know that she's just following it.
That's right, yeah. I'm bouncing through
All
it.
right.
Gosh, I
You're all
don't
about
know.
moving now.
Wait.
Well, Ellen, you know,
Oh,
your leader also, she can get a coin instead of a movement, which means you can make lots of money by taxing with her, which means you can, then bribe your way to the top in later
I
rounds.
love that train of thought. Stan, I kid you not, I thought I was doing that on my last turn. I was like, I'm gonna get a tent in there and tax that, and then I'm gonna get a coin because she's in there, and I did it in the wrong.
Right. But you would actually technically could get 2 coins, one for market and one for her. So you could just make it rain.
I think I'm gonna do that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay, what do I want to do last? I want to.
I don't know, I'm
Okay.
building though, that's for sure.
I think using leaders correctly is one of the more difficult things for new
Yeah.
players. It's most times they forget about them completely, but they are quite important. Like if you ignore them, usually it's hard to do as well as a person who uses them a lot. So yours is, like I said, you can just figure out how to make a ton of money. Whereas for Randy, he doesn't need that much movement because every time he strikes with a leader, he can just move afterwards. So he can just lean into the whole fighting thing and not worry about movement too much, which is pretty
I'm a
neat.
big fan of fighting.
I'd like to fight. I fought too, guys.
Randy and Ellen, how much are we distracting you by talking when you're planning?
Oh, not at all. I got 4 kids, Kurt.
we
You can't
talk
scare
so
me.
much during
You should have seen us
games.
when we're not trying to be weird fashion and all, and just playing by ourselves. We usually have music on and we're acting stupid.
I'm sure that our some of our movements are not ideal, or we might
Right.
forget something that we were planning on doing, or something along those lines.
Or I
but,
just am not a very good strategist.
but we're playing for fun.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
It is.
Boom. Wait.
A boom.
Well, your moves don't.
Any questions that any of the viewers have that they want Stan to answer, or Ellen, or Randy, or myself to answer about Rurik or anything
Yes, please
else?
Ask away. If they can even hear us. God darn it.
All right. Golly.
Um.
Plan on doing that. So usually I'll use my.
I actually do have a question
list
for
early.
Stan myself.
Okay.
What the heck made you think of the auction programming? How did that idea? Because I feel like it is so unique. I have not seen it in another board game. I've only been in this hobby for what 4 years. I haven't played everything out there, but to me, it's just like its own thing. How did you do it?
It was like a trial and error process. I actually started with like a card system where you would play different cards
Okay.
with different numbers. It was a little bit like a hand management game where you select the card simultaneously, then resolve in a number order, like Mission Red Planet or something like that. And that was kind of like the starting point. The idea was like you choose an action, but then you have like an uncertainty of what other people are gonna do, and then like a slight uncertainty of in what order it's gonna go off. And then from that sort of like slowly it sort of evolved into this thing. I don't remember at what point I was also designing Lockup around that time.
Okay.
And you guys played Lockup, and in Lockup you
Totally.
put the guys inside the rooms, and then you're trying to build your
Yes.
numbers up
Yep.
to take the reward. And so it's sort of like, I was like, oh, what if I apply something like that where you put guys in these spots? So actually, like even initially, these banners were like rooms. So you went into these like chambers to plot. Like you went in the war chamber to fight, and you went into like a logistic chamber to tax. Then we simplified it for banners just for like the visuals to make it clean. But that was the idea, is that you were putting advisors in there and they were like jostling for position, and stronger advisors got more, but they were slower to act. And so it's just sort of coalesced over time into the final form that you guys see.
Yeah, that's amazing. And actually, that's really interesting that you talk about Mission Red Planet, because that's totally the case in that. And you don't know what people are going to put down. That game, oh my gosh, that was one of the first ones that we played when I was getting into the hobby, and it stressed me out because I didn't understand that concept. It was very, and you as a new gamer, it was just like the most intimidating thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, now I'm able to look at that and grasp it a little bit.
It's still a fun game.
Totally.
Like that's one of those games.
It's
it gets people
frustrating
in the
when
hobby. I
when you
like
play it
it.
at 5 and 6 players, and like it's still so fun, but so frustrating. Your plans constantly get thwarted, constantly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a fun chaos kind of thing.
I have 3 boots, so I'm moving 3.
Okay.
So 1.
Sure.
Oh gosh, you jerk!
What? What didn't I do?
It just don't
I'm
even
over
talk
here.
to me. Shoot.
Where are you gonna go?
Ricardo, to your
Whoa,
question
what's
about
up?
a potential big box, for this campaign, we're not doing a big box. The simple way of saying it is, historically,
Oh, you have
big
all
boxes are
attacks.
created for games when the publishers decided that they know the full scope of product is going to be created for that game. And we're not ready to say that Rurik is done with this expansion, but we also don't know what could come next. So to make a big box now would be a little short-sighted. If we did make another expansion, at that point we'd probably have a better understanding of, if we were pleased with it all being done, so to speak, or if we had even more beyond that. So good question, not on this campaign though.
Next one is Rurik in space.
Everything. That's right.
Everything's better in space. I think I'm gonna build a fort
Terraforming
for extra troops.
Rus.
Let's lay these down so you can see them a little bit.
Terraforming Roost is actually kind of a catchy name.
Yeah, it is. Terraforming Rus.
Do I want to tax them there instead?
I don't know what you want.
I think so.
Alright, I'm attacking.
I want to turn that into a tax.
We can have like
I'm gonna
a
attack this
modern
guy
day
here.
person transported.
Gives me a bear skin.
We're gonna just kill people right left over here.
And so I got to draw one for that, which is an empty.
Oh, hi,
And I'm
Michael.
going to draw another one to try to capture him, which is also an empty.
Wow.
Wow, you guys are
I
just.
knew
Did you
those.
shuffle these?
Did you shuffle
I
those
knew they
cards?
were empty. Those 2 I put back. Ellen was
Oh.
grabbing everything from the other deck.
I was
I grabbed
just
2
played
from
it
there
to
and
be
2
player.
Definitely
No,
shuffled.
no captures.
You done?
No,
Capture.
I just have another
Oh,
attack to do.
okay. Wow.
Oh, and then when I attack, after attacking, I can gain 2 movement points. So I'm gonna gain. I was gonna go there, but now you're there.
Yeah, I had a feeling I should bulk that up a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go up here instead.
Okay.
Hi, Michael.
And
Michael
I'm
Young
gonna go
is saying
ahead
hi.
and attack this man here
Yes,
for
Michael
a
Young
coin.
is a dude that comes to our house. Well, actually, I haven't seen him since quarantine, but he was a part of our game group.
And I'm
Lovely
gonna from
gentleman.
here, which is empty. Should I try it to go again?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, because that's
Yeah,
no.
I feel good about it, babe.
No, I feel terrible about it.
I feel great.
Yes, Ricardo, the Bears from the East would be the next expansion, clearly.
Take the East.
Bears from the
I'm not
East.
gonna attempt it.
Bears
You're-
to join.
I mean, we do have a character with a dog.
Yes.
We could go the whole like scythe
He's the one
route.
that caught my eye,
Give everybody an
actually. That particular character card.
He's like, I think his fan favorite. I like Boris.
Yeah.
Myself. I love that sculpt.
What did I just do? Tax. So I'm getting 2 wood because I'm taxing with this little marketplace out. So I take this one. put
Or
it
you
in
get the
the
wood and
bag.
the coin.
What?
Or you can get the wood and the coin. Remember from the tent. The second thing you
Yeah,
get can either be the
shoot.
same resource or a coin.
I'm gonna take the.
And then remember, you can trigger her ability.
Yes, and her ability lets me. Wait, hold on.
Holding.
If you tax in her region, you may move her to an adjacent or gain 1 coin from the supply. I think I'm gonna get the coin and
That's
stay
an
put for
excellent
now.
choice. Especially since you
she's
only have
loving
2
it, Kiev.
coins.
Kiev is the talk of the town.
Randy, are you going to use this time to build one of the epic structures?
I might.
Just so you don't forget
Yes.
or about them. You
No,
don't have to build it, of
I'm
course.
going to build an epic structure at some point. I think I'm going to first, though, build a tent over here. And the city gate. I might. Yeah, we'll build a city gate, I think. Because that'll give me
Go for it.
a couple extra taxes, so I can tax my other stuff here. So I can build it in a central green region, and I want to build it right in here.
And so, what does that let you do then?
So if you move into here, it costs you an
Two,
extra. It
yeah.
costs anybody an extra movement.
Oh
And
gosh.
then as a reward here, I get two
Forget
two
this
tax
card.
things, which I'm
This
going
is
to
way
tax
too hard at this point.
these 2 regions here.
Yeah, that's right, Michael. You played the base
Now,
game
since
of
I'm
this with
taxing
us.
that, I can actually tax it for 2 stones, right? Because that works just like any other tax, and I have my little tax building out there. So go ahead, and now that fills up another thing for me.
Wow. I feel like you just tooted your own horn a little bit.
Toot toot. All right, that's it, Ellen. So now
Yep.
we go to the action phase. Or actually, I'm sorry, we already did the action phase. Now we go to the claim phase.
Did you tax 3 regions, Randy, or 2?
I taxed 2 because I taxed this other one earlier.
Oh, got it.
Or did I not fill that one in? Oh, I taxed that one, right? Yeah, I taxed that one with the guy that I had there before.
Wait a second. At what point can we do these? I don't remember. I don't recall.
You can
On
do
your
those
turn
at
at
the
any time?
at the end of during any one of your turns. Yeah. So at the beginning of the claim phase here, we need to release captives, and I was not brave enough to get another captive, so I don't get any points for that. I have to release him from my dungeon. You don't have any either.
No, you can keep the guy in the dungeon until a future
Oh.
round.
I must have.
Yeah, you don't have
Okay.
to release
In
them
fact,
until
you want
I
to
would
Jeff
definitely
Rainwater?
want to leave him there. I must have read that wrong. All right, and then the armor uprising here, since there's already a guy there, we need to reveal another card.
Jeff is here and excited about Rurik.
Smolsk. So there's another guy
He's
there.
excited.
It's for you, Ellen. Another rebel here, kind of. He's
That's
gonna
perfect
pledge his
for me.
allegiance to you, or he might stab you.
He's
in the
gonna
back.
die.
One of the 2.
He'll be dead.
Then we can advance our marker. So now rule 3 regions.
One,
Ellen.
Yes, Jeff, this is
Only
with the
rules
expansion. Stone and
3.
Blade is
Oh, no,
live on
yeah, this one.
Kickstarter right now.
Do I actually rule with these schmucks in
Yeah,
there?
because this one.
Oh yeah,
gives
done.
you
I forgot.
extra-
That's why I did that.
So you
Oh
go
my gosh,
for
I'm so
regions.
smart. I'm so smart. I forgot I was
You are
smart.
so dang smart.
Yes.
You don't have adjacent. You have 2 adjacent regions built. I have 2 adjacent regions built.
Wash.
Tray 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm all the way up to 7 goods. You have 5, so you get to go up on that.
Gosh, that feels good. I love watching that crown go up.
But we
like
still
that.
have not attacked each other.
That I
We don't
wanted
check- we
to.
don't-
I wanted to move in here and
We
start
really don't
doing
tend to
that.
attack each other all that often, do we?
We don't.
That's
I'm
okay.
not an attacky
That's
type
okay.
person.
All right, and then
Jeff, you're awesome. Thank you.
income. So we get 1 for everything that's at the bottom here. So Ellen gets 1. I get 1.
I do.
And then 1 for every filled column. So I have thrice filled columns here. So I get 3 of those.
I yet again have not that filled out.
It's okay.
Oh,
I
hold
don't
on a
mind.
sec. When I taxed, what do you tax? You pick one place to tax, correct?
Well, it's 1 per tax point, unless you don't own it, and then it's 2 tax points.
I had 2
You get 2 what?
tax points. Did
Okay.
I tax twice?
Didn't you
I
didn't
don't
tax
think I
another
did.
thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Give me that stone. Yeah, baby. And now I get this little baggy thing.
That's only for the center ones.
Nope, that's right. I forgot
You can
about
tax
that.
the,
oh, yeah. I'll do
that one
that.
instead.
Get that stone out of here. Give me that wood.
Okay. So then you would get your boon token, which is a
Yes,
wild resource, and then you would get your extra income then at this point.
So mine's a puzzle.
All right, and then Ellen, you're first, so you get to pick the first deed card again.
That's right. The first deed card.
None of us are in the beekeeping business, so this little master
I
beekeeper
know.
that lets you spend honeycombs.
That's such a good card with 2
I
points on
know.
it.
Gosh, what does this
Ellen
mean?
rules the only honeycombs in the land right now.
I do.
Yeah, but you can use boon
That's
tokens.
true.
Right.
That's true.
Oh, snap! Seriously? Let me look at that. So what does this mean? I could get rid of a boon token, a
Yeah.
honeycomb, and a card.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No, that
juicy.
that one. Yeah,
I'm taking
You know,
it,
she can
Kurt.
use a boon token. as
Kurt,
a
don't try to talk me out of it, man.
no,
Yeah,
I
boon tokens
watching
are
YouTube. You're touching a card a little bit different than what I hear you live. So I was thinking you were talking about a
Oh.
different card.
Yeah, we are a little bit ahead of you on Skype there.
Oh, I see. Okay, my phone's about to die.
And peace treaty. So this I have to actually take something. I don't want that.
Oh, Mark. Sometimes I do
Take
have
higher mercenaries.
whimsical thoughts that someone that's gonna just back a lot of copies just to push us up higher. Mark had said, Jeff, please buy like 800 copies so we can get to 110K.
That's awesome.
Please. Well, he said please.
I don't think we're that far from 110. I don't think 800 copies.
No,
But by all means.
When do I
do
get to
that.
play this on my turn at any time?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but you can only play one of each card type per turn.
I can only play one of each card type per turn.
Right. Now you have 3 of them, and you have 4 turns per
Sure.
round. So you
Oh,
could
yeah.
get them all done in one round if
good.
you wanted. But
I'm
you
good.
can't play 2 of the same per turn. All right. Replenish goods.
Yes.
Yep, and then don't forget to spawn a new rebel.
I spawned
did
them
already.
Yeah.
Oh,
in small
sorry,
ones.
I did
missed
that at
it.
the beginning of the claim. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching on through Facebook, and it's quite a bit
Yeah.
behind.
No, yeah,
the
Facebook
actual.
always delays it more than YouTube because YouTube you can actually decide how much you want it delayed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why would you want to delay it? So you can
Some people
delay
delay it so they can actually like. There's various reasons.
it. Okay, whatever.
Too boring to
I
go
feel
into.
like that's going to get really long.
And we've answered around
Get it.
marker, so Ellen gets an extra guy. I get an extra guy.
So guys, let me talk to you about something right now. This is
Sure.
already round 3.
It is.
This game cooks, dude. It cooks.
The first 2 rounds go pretty quick.
Yeah. Now it's gonna slow.
Now we have more people. It slows down a little bit, but
Okay.
now we have 2 of the same numbered people. If anybody was noticing that. So when you play these, you can still play anything in any order. But when you go to take them off the board, you can choose either one of these to play first.
Okay. I'm so scared right now. Is it my turn?
It is.
Oh my gosh. So overwhelmed.
Randy, how many total defeated rebels do you have? You have 2, 1 in your dungeon and 1 not in your dungeon.
Correct.
And Ellen, you have 2
yeah,
total.
No, that's right.
Wait.
That's right.
Oh.
Defeat condition is to have 4
Just-
defeated rebels.
Oh.
Well, one player.
Oh, that's what I
That's
thought.
what I
One
thought.
player.
'Cause I was
only have 2. I'm not
waiting
sure
for
why
it. I
the
thought that's
schmuck is
your-
sitting here.
That's what you were hitting
I
at.
don't know where he's
Ellen's got.
No, I was just wanting to make sure you guys remembered that you could work towards getting that point.
Yes.
I didn't remember.
Because she converted one of her people.
I'm not even gonna lie.
One of her rebels was converted, but the other 2 are actually defeated.
Okay, I'm trying to do what Stan said and think about what I want to do last.
Okay. Stan has been known to lead you astray in other games
Stan
we've played with him, though.
constantly lies to me all the time.
What
Spelling
were
everyday
we
things.
playing? We played Circadians, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Stan kept coming in with. Stan was the peace police, right? Wasn't that
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Stan?
Wait, what were you?
I was not believing a lot of stuff you guys were
It's
telling
like, I
me.
don't know
Everybody calls
how'd you get
himself,
that?
though.
How'd you get that? How'd you get that?
I was very
You
dubious.
were. Every time I did something, it's like,
You know,
how even?
I feel like those games are just easy to make mistakes, and
Absolutely.
I hate games where you like roll the dice and do it behind the screen.
Oh, sure.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
jeez, it's like a roll for the galaxy and games like that. It's like roll the
Yeah.
dice behind your screen. Oh look, they're all sixes. What are the
Look, that's so
odds?
sweet. Look what Jeff said. I'll have you know that the only reason I ever did this game in the first place is because of the Kirby's. That's awesome.
All right, Bay.
I'm thinking, oh, what did you do?
Well, you put a 1 on mustard.
Okay, but because
That's
I wanted to.
Stan, I feel like we should tell story time about Origins when I got that really bad toe bleeding before demoing Rurik. Do you remember that?
Okay.
I remember that. What were you
What
doing?
happened to your foot?
So Stan and I we shared lodging along with a few other people for Peacekeeper Games Airbnb at Origins a couple years ago, and I think it was Origins. I
He was already,
kicked the corner of a wall, just walking around to get something to eat or something, and it split my toe. And Stan mentioned it was the most blood he'd ever seen come out of a toe
I was
before.
like, and I work in the ER.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that.
So then when you're working a booth and demoing games and stuff, you're on your feet all day long, and we had to figure out how to get that bleeding to stop so that
Oh
I
my
could get on my
gosh.
feet the next day. It was
That's
interesting.
insane.
That's crazy.
It was like the most serious injury someone ever got from just like walking into
Did you
a
have
corner.
sandals on?
I was barefoot. I mean, I was in an Airbnb.
Oh.
I've seen people karate kick a crate of glass bottles and have less of an injury to their foot.
Why were they doing that though? Like, what's the circumstance surrounding kicking a crate with glass?
Well, it's a hypothetical.
Randy had a pretty crazy toe injury.
Yeah, I can
About a month
explain
ago.
it. Yeah, so I'm wearing sandals, but they're mostly closed sandals. They're like a sport, like water sandal. They're like meant for like canoeing and boating and stuff. And we were just out in Washington State, and we're on the boardwalk or something. And I'll come back to that shortly here.
I can't believe you did that. I'll just tell it. We were walking back to our B&B, and it was dark out, like really like dark, and the streetlights were shining down. All of a sudden, I like turn around and I see Randy jump up on the ledge of this walkway. It's like a stone ledge, and just stand like 4 feet down maybe, so you could jump onto the sand or get back on the path. And he started to kind of slip and tried to compensate so he wouldn't fall forward. And by doing that, he put his weight backward where the railing is shaped like this, and it was like super slippery. What is that?
Yeah, it wasn't even. It's like this big concrete thing that's like a foot wide. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Well, that thing has a slight dome to it, and it was extremely slippery paint. So like I'm like, oh, I want to go forward, so I slightly leaned back and I slid backwards, and I landed like on my back. My back was completely fine. My foot came down and like literally busted my little toe open. Like busted it open, like this big like pressure smack, like somebody hit it with a hammer, and it was bleeding everywhere.
Can I tell them what we had to do for your toe?
if you so desire.
We had no band-aids. It was like midnight. Okay, there was nowhere to go. We're at this like tiny seaside town. Like, how do we get this to stop bleeding?
What's an absorbing product that a female might have on her?
We had to wrap
No
his
kidding.
foot in a maxi pad
Yes.
with like electrical tape,
Yeah.
and I had to like wrap it super
It was
tight.
bleeding that bad.
So badly.
It was so bad.
So there you
Like,
go.
The entire, because I was walking back to the room, and like the entire bottom of my foot was like caked in blood, like in between that and my shoe, and it was like sticky and.
After I like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I laughed. Like we laughed. We
It was
laughed.
funny. There was
It
no
is-
question. It's funny.
It is bizarre.
Do you like what I did here?
What the heck are you doing?
I got money up the wazoo. I got money to bribe here, sweetie.
Wait, let me ask you a question. How the heck are you getting all this money? Why do we have zero
I
money?
get all this money from doing this stuff.
I'm doing stuff.
Not enough stuff, huh?
Oh, darn it.
So Ricardo is asking, what's your favorite player count for this game? Ellen, Randy, and Stan, if you all want to each answer that.
First.
I think I like it at the full complement of 4 because there's
You
more
go first.
of. And no, you're first player. There's more that could go. Like you never quite know where a game's gonna go based off of because there's so many players. So if a couple players are really going heavy attack, you have to really adjust to that. I like it at 4 just for the extra variability.
But the game scales well too, though. At 2.
No,
Like
no.
right now, having the map just like sliced
Yes,
into
he has
that.
favorites.
Okay, fine.
Did you want to
I would
complete
say
any
3
of
or
your
4
things?
2 for that same reason. What?
Are you going to complete any of your stuff there or anything?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't really say because I'm asked that quite a bit, and I just really feel it's not just like a self-serving statement, but I really feel like I like all counts
Yeah.
because it just scales
scales
well,
really
like the map scales, the board scales, and the only thing I'll say about two-player game is very, it's more mean. I think like the mean factor is ratcheted up. Because there's only one person to fight. So everything you're doing against this one person. Whereas in multiplayer, you actually have a chance that people might be fighting, and you may be able to like sneak under the radar and do something sneaky. Where with 2, basically, like that's it. There's only one person to stop, and so it's really fun, but it's kind of intense. Whereas with 3 and 4, yeah, I feel like there's a little bit more leeway. There's a little bit more like, maybe nobody will bother with me. Then there's a little bit like table talk too, where people are like, don't attack me, I'm barely alive, attack him, which is fun, But honestly, it doesn't have a problem. This isn't a game where people will say, oh, don't play this with, X amount of people.
Well, you probably don't play with 5.
Well, it would be a bit long, but I think you could probably mitigate it by just having one less advisor in the final round.
I was just being goofy because, of course, we don't have 5 players with the pieces yet.
Well, I spent quite a bit of time thinking about like how the 5th player would work out in this game. Even when we could actually do 5th player, and it's an interesting thing because you don't want the game to go on forever.
Right.
Not that it would.
But there's already less advisors that you get in a 4-player
Thanks,
game.
Games of Fire, for joining us.
Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think.
In that Games of Fire.
Yeah, there's several things I was thinking about trying for 5. So when we get serious about it, if that's really what players want, it's been mentioned many times, but it's hard to know if it's just a minority or not.
Right there, plotting death.
Brandon, to your question, yes. Once the catacombs are placed, it blocks all players from placing any more structures in that area, which can be a real game changer.
Yeah, we're not playing with that one obviously this round, but yeah, that one looks interesting for sure.
My turn.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to build a workshop.
What you gonna build?
I'll build this for her.
Okay. You still don't own it, just so you know. Did you move into here?
Yes.
Did you spend 2 movement points?
I have 3, so I'll back one out
And
then.
Ricardo, Stan was just talking about
This takes 2 movement
talked
points.
about a
And that's
potential
why I
5th
moved
player
one in for
expansion.
for
No
2.
guarantees on
And
that.
then I moved
We
another
have
guy.
some ideas for it. It does
Okay.
require adding quite a few pieces to, of course, account for new player color.
Wait, can
I think there's a way
I
it
put
could
him back
work.
and
We
put him
haven't
in here instead?
finalized that plan, though.
Let's
Yeah.
get it, go.
I figured it would require an extension to the strategy board,
There's
as
3
well
structures in
as
there now.
possible map extension, which is then difficult because you have a mat as well.
Yeah, the map is
Yes.
the hardest part. We don't really
So
want
the
to
map is right. The map is perfectly sort of suited for 4. You add a whole another player, you need a bigger
Let's build
map.
that.
It's all doable, but it all depends. It would be a lot of stuff simply to let one extra player play. So
And
it's a bit.
We're gonna build the Veche
Options, 1,
over
2,
here.
3.
So this, I get a deed card. Okay. And then, so this one here, place a troop from your supply on this card. So I have a card, or I have a guy. And then once per round per player, after moving a troop onto this region, then you may place a troop from your supply on this card. Then you draw another scheme card, and then whoever has the most troops gets a point. So currently,
Oh wait, I forgot to
I am in the lead.
do my thing
for
though.
that. Go ahead.
Okay. Because this is kind of important, I believe.
Sure.
So this is
They're
getting
all
rid of a
important.
card. I'm gonna play this one. I'm playing Master Beekeeper, and I'm
Okay.
getting rid of my
A B.
delicious, beautiful
And then you're gonna
honeycomb.
get rid of your boon also.
Yep, there goes my boon. Boon, baby.
Okay.
And I'm getting rid of this Create
Oh, you gotta
Republic.
get rid of one of these cards
That's-
though.
Oh, I don't have that kind.
You don't have that kind. You're
Are you
right.
kidding me?
Well, you can get it later.
Aw, Stan!
It's always Stan's fault. Nature boon bag.
What the?
You got booned.
Yeah, that's the little.
Son of a biscuit
foolish
eater.
card. Don't forget to take your
How do I
boon.
get a dang... I got it. How do I get...
Wait, but you actually own it. It's the one, yeah. Okay.
How do I get one of those?
You have to go here. I've got a couple. Do you want to borrow one?
Yes, please.
Give me all of
Are
your
you
troops
kidding
and all
me?
of your coins and all of your
All right,
stuff. however you
go.
want.
Or is it my turn?
Yep, your turn.
Gosh, now I'm gonna flip this table.
Don't flip it yet.
I remember early when we were demoing this at Gen Con before the first
Okay.
Kickstarter, somebody at the table was like, well, I want it to be like Catan where you can trade resources with other people.
You're like, you know.
I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
yeah, this is what this game need, a forced
Right.
negotiation segment to make it go for 5 hours.
We got a friend.
Well, then
Oh, go ahead, Kirk.
it would be like that game. What's that game called? It's why am I blanking what it's called? It's that
Tech.
pretty crazy trading game for 3 to
I did it.
6 players or something.
Do you kill him?
No, 4 to 7.
Are you talking about
But I also
Pit?
might die.
No, it's got a really wacky name. It's like 7 words long.
Oh,
Died.
jeez. No, I don't know about that one.
I just died, guys. Does anybody care?
Now we're trying to fight me. She didn't go up on the
I
track,
did
though.
fight you. I did try. I fought you.
Well, okay.
Killed your
That's
face.
true. That's true. Yeah, we had a friend that, well, it doesn't say that you can't in the rules.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
there's a lot of things in the rules
That's true.
that don't say
That's
that.
true.
That doesn't mean
I mean,
rulebooks don't say
yeah,
you can
it-
cheat. That doesn't mean you can.
By the way, just in case the viewers are wondering, they are playing with the stables and taverns. They just haven't built any of
Yeah,
them yet.
sorry.
Yeah.
Hint. What if I don't want to
Yelling at
build
us
them?
right now.
Look at all this other stuff I've
No,
built.
I just wanted people to know
Yeah,
that they
for
are
sure.
in existence.
They are. They're right here.
The show.
See? Right there.
For instance, okay, but once there's 3 buildings in that region, you can't build
It's done.
anything
You're
else
done.
in there.
Even, yep.
You can't build anything else in
There
there.
are some that span the borders that don't count towards the building limit, but we don't
Okay.
currently have any of those.
So,
All right, so I'm gonna attack twice. I'm gonna attack this fine rebel here,
okay.
and I'm gonna draw this one, which is a kill, so I die. Great. So I
That
can't
just made me
capture
way
him
too
because I got
happy.
damaged.
Oh, Ellen, you didn't want to try to capture Randy when you were attacking him earlier.
I did want to capture him. What?
Did you want to try to capture?
No, I'm
me,
just-
is what
No,
you
I
said.
wanted to.
I mean, we've kind of gone past
I'm
it.
gonna
Yeah, I
try
wanted
to
to kill him
capture this
anyway.
guy though, which I don't. So,
Oof.
do I take another casualty then, or is that just to draw for capturing?
They totally just called you out for
No,
playing
you can't
bad.
even-
That's right, Jeff.
And Michael is saying he came completely to watch you guys build stables, so he's just disappointed if you're not
Oh
going to build
my
stables.
gosh! Right, I'm gonna build one real
All right.
soon here.
I'm going to attack. Actually, I didn't check my thing. It's a rock.
Gosh, man.
Brandon, thanks for your kind
I'm
words.
gonna
Really
attack
appreciate
this one
that.
here for a
It
coin,
was it's a big project to get it all to work out well.
and I have to draw for
Brandon
that.
said he wanted to give a shout out to the design team and everyone involved, especially for the storage system. Dan Cunningham did an
Oh my
amazing
gosh,
job
the
with those
storage
trees.
is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
he sure did.
I have a quick
Best
question
storage
for you
I've ever
guys.
seen.
I have just killed 4 rebels immediately. So does that immediately goes away? Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and you
Can-
get a point.
You flip it over and you grab a point.
Oh my gosh.
Over,
I mean,
grab a point. No, it's fine.
optionally you can kiss the card too, but I mean, do you?
It's a legacy game, so you have to rip it up. and throw it
yeah,
away.
right.
All right, the rebel uprising has been defeated.
Isn't this is Stan's background? Yeah, the burning city.
I think it is. Yeah.
I wanna know.
Burning city
you think
background.
I'm
Oh, and you got the
bad.
kiss. Good.
What do you think? Kirk?
I'm gonna try to
Rurik
capture him.
Legacy.
Yes, I captured him.
I'm kind of.
I mean, it's really culturally appropriate too for greeting someone with a kiss.
There you go.
All right, so that
I'm
is
kind of
the end of
disgusted
the
at the amount
action
of money you have right now. I kind of want
phase.
to set your little
Not
boat
gonna
on
use-
fire.
Not going to use these yet. Before I go, I'm going to go ahead and do this though. This hire mercenaries at the end of my last turn there. So it's a fish, a stone, and 2 coins.
How do I get one of those cards? I truly don't remember. I'm like
Which
trying.
cards? These?
Want to be able to
Right
fulfill my thingy.
Right
That's
here.
the only way.
That's the only way.
Stan,
So I get to
What
do
did I
a
do?
attack action, and I get to draw one less card. So Ellen's the only person in range to attack. So I'm going to attack her and go up.
You are sleeping
So,
on the couch.
I have to
sir.
draw 1 plus 1
Hey,
because she
Luffy?
has a tower, but minus 1 because I'm playing this card.
I don't know if you guys saw Ricardo's wondering what inspired the title
And
Stone
I
Blade. Did
died.
you already answer that?
I was waiting till there was
Okay.
a lull, but yes.
Randy's stopping to attack me. Right
Spot
now.
on, Ricardo. It's stone for the new buildings, blade for combat. We wanted to highlight those being the two main features of the expansion. And we tried a couple things on for size, and it had a nice ring to it, at least from my perspectives.
That's a great ring.
Alright, so that's it.
Yeah, Luffy, I'm not going to let him get away with that,
So
right?
now we don't have to worry about the Rebel Uprising. I guess we take the building off too, right? Take the building off.
Thanks, Brandon.
I wanted to call it
Appreciate your
Architects of the East Kingdom, but
Wow.
Too similar to something else,
That
right?
sounds so good.
All right. So I looked up the game name I was talking about. It's Sidereal Confluence, if anyone's played that game.
oh
I've
yeah,
I've heard it pronounced
You said
Sidereal
7
also. I'm
words.
not
That
sure
is
what
not
the
7 words.
correct pronunciation, but
That is hot. That's amazing.
Yeah, Sidereal Confluence.
I was wrong on how long the name was, but it's kind of a unique game.
it
was
looked
bizarre, yeah.
interesting, yeah, because like there's lots of
I never played it, but the explanation was like very
Really? I've
unusual.
never heard of it.
so I get to claim 2
Oh, Brandon,
point
it's Brandon
tokens
Wiener.
here because
best
of
wishes.
the rebels that I had
That's
captured.
usually a goodbye thing.
And let's go up to the advanced track. I still only have 3 regions. Ellen, you still only
I have
4.
5. Oh,
You're tied here, and you don't have this one.
wait. 1, 2, 3,
3.
4.
Excellent math.
Oh, shoot.
Building, I have 3 adjacent buildings now. Ellen has 4 adjacent buildings, so at least a shot up there. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I still only have 7 goods on boats.
That is how you do
And then you
it.
have 7 goods on boats. Man, you're blowing me away on these tracks up here, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I am doing that thing that you just said with your face.
Alright, income. So no bonus income for that. We just get our income for the tracks here. So I have 3.
Okay. I
Ellen's
have
got 1.
1 coin. Wow, am I rich?
I'm rich.
You know what? I'm rich in blessings, okay? I'm rich in blessings.
I was going to use the conversion token last time, and I completely forgot, but that's okay.
Oh, shoot. I think it
And
was
we'll replenish our goods here. We'll go there.
replenish your foods, Michael. Sorry.
And then we'll move out to round marker. So this is the last round. We get our extra
Yeah, look at
number
that.
3 man here.
So
now we have
truly,
6 advisors.
This is where the meat is. This is
Yeah, that's gonna
this
be
is the
epic.
gosh, what's the word?
I don't know.
The thingy. This.
The meat?
The mutton.
The mutton?
Yeah,
Sure.
it's the mutton of the game.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, Sander, the boxes being connected illustration-wise
Yes.
was Yoma's idea. Our art director, he pushed forward and we made it work. And it
Guys,
worked out
I
great.
literally just noticed that.
Oops.
Oh my gosh, Randy. I think you
It's
had
okay.
no guys in
We're
here
good.
and I had all of
We're
them
okay.
in here.
Yeah, that's right. I was like that.
Well, it sounds like you guys have it in hand now. I believe in you, Alan.
I
I,
get no
gotta
problem.
run,
Ever. Alright.
but I know, Alan, you're gonna take it all.
Alright, Sweet Pea, you get to go first.
Loopy, yes, sorry, the sound is a little bit choppy. Sorry.
Yes, we do
Scheme. So I get a
apologize.
stupid scheme card.
Okay.
That is me getting one correct.
They're not
I'll
stupid.
be able to
Scheme
do my
cards
thing.
are
I know,
awesome,
they're amazing.
Alan.
Kirk, I'm sorry. Sometimes I say stupid and I'm thinking. But babe, for real though, this is gonna give me one in my hand so I can do my card.
Regardless, yeah.
Okay,
Even if I won't be
That's all I
down.
wanna know.
Alright.
Gotta build a stable.
Now I gotta figure out exactly
Just for Michael.
plan
Oh,
my
just for you.
decimation here.
That's good. You gotta fulfill the wishes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take another look at my thing here. Yep.
Loopy, you put way too much.
All right,
weight
guys,
in me.
I'm gonna leave it in Kirk's capable hands.
Alright. Who am I gonna
Yeah,
yell at
It's
though,
great to see
Stan?
you all.
Thank you for coming, Sam.
Great
I
to see you,
want you-
Jan.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, Alan. You can do
Thank
it.
you. I've never felt stronger.
All right, Randy. Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
thanks, Dan.
Bye,
Thanks
thank
for coming.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Alright, there we go.
Alright, here we go. So I'm getting a scheme
All right,
card.
now we can start talking
Yeah, oh
about
my
it.
gosh, that guy.
Gosh, I cannot. This is the worst
Yikes.
game. Oh, wait, no, the bonus is still
Yikes.
here. Crap.
Wait. They both need to be done. All right. How about we do a little bit of that? So, okay, I have to think about what I want to do at the end.
Okay. What would you like to do at the end?
No idea, but it's your turn.
That was my turn.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And keep in mind, you both can still use your conversion token with the rebel miniatures to get an extra attack.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any rebels. Thanks for bringing that up.
You have rebels.
You have two. The two that were captured previously count
Yeah,
towards
they don't
yours.
go away once you capture them.
Shut the front door. So I can use it along with this little boon.
Well, he would be the two,
No.
one guy plus two.
I see. Okay. Oh, awesome. That's great. Okay.
Alright.
I have played this many times, in case you guys are wondering, but I still have. You know what? Castles of Burgundy got me into this hobby. I've played it, gosh, 10, 15 times. I love it. I have questions every single time I play. So don't take this personally, Kirk.
Oh, not a problem.
Jeff says I scared Stan off by blaming him for everything. I just feels good to have someone to blame. Alright, let's see here. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. What is with you?
I'm trying to play to the best of my
it's
abilities.
disgusting.
Thank you, Michael, for your kind words. Really appreciate it, and so glad to hear you enjoyed the game. And thanks also for your future pledge. Really appreciate it.
Oh,
You
can't
can't
do
get
it.
it. Oh, okay. Alright.
Oh my gosh, it jumps down my throat, why don't ya?
I tried.
Jump down your throat. That's a phrase?
It is now, Kirk. It is now. You know, I feel like what's the point of using my coins because you can blow me out of the
I
water.
have
So I might as
lots
well
of
just
coins
put
to blow
stuff.
you out of the
So
water.
I might as well just look at this stupid thing and be like, where do I want to go? I muster 2 hats.
What do you want to be? What do you want
How's
to be
that
stuck in
sound?
then?
I don't have any money.
Should we have left over there?
You guys should make a card that's like a money tree card. And you can like plant
Sounds like a
it
good card.
and just like get money.
I mean, there is an epic structure that does that.
But it's not the one we have, right?
No. You
Money
have
trees.
you have the most wood. This might not be a bad thing for you to build at some point.
Yeah, actually. Let's see.
Especially towards the end here. 3.
If you have the most wood.
Four.
Oh yeah, son. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Definitely need a
Kirk, you should have
muster.
told me that was there. Now I have to start blaming you for stuff.
Yeah, go ahead and blame me for it all.
Okay.
Actually, I apologize. I just referred to a card that we cut from the game. There is not a money tree anymore.
Oh, see, that's alright.
I guess I
always
forgive
good to come up
you.
with it.
I don't know. I guess.
I have to put it on the Frank creation boards or something. Attack 3.
Attack 3.
Okay.
Slide me down.
Definitely plan on sliding you down.
Loopy, as far as player count, both Randy earlier said he likes it best at 4. Ellen said she likes it best at 3 or 4. Stan was non-committal as to which player count he would say he likes it best
Typical
at.
Stan. No,
What I
okay.
have found is people seem to either like it best at 4 or 2, and if it's a 2-player, like let's say it's a couple or 2 friends that play games together a lot, it is a good 2-player game. But if you play with 4 players a lot, you do have a lot more uncertainty of what's going to happen when you
gotta
play
pick
4
one of these
players.
into that. Okay, I'm going to. Well, I need attacks. Guess I'll go to the build here.
I'm very close to this.
Okay.
Just having a guy
Yeah,
in
the 8
8.
regions, yeah.
You understand what that card does there on the right-hand side, right, where it talks about releasing one captive?
Yes. Yep.
Sure. No, I do.
That's 6 in 1 region.
Yes, okay, I guess I'm taking this one.
Loopy, I like it best at 4-player as well, but it's a really good
Well,
2-player
it
game.
scales so well, and I think that's what Stan was saying also, and that it kind of, I mean, especially with the expansion, it kind of encourages fighting a little bit more, so it
Yeah,
just
start
plays
finishing
well
some
on
of those
everything.
cards. I forget about those.
I know,
You're up on the board here.
but you said I can only complete one per thing,
Per time you pick a guy up.
per time you pick the guy up.
Yep.
Idiot, okay. Now can I place this in 2 dang things?
Sure.
Okay, go.
Alright.
Oh, and
What's up?
Ellen, part of the reason you couldn't put your deed cards face up, by the way, they're not technically face down.
The deed cards. There's a variant, isn't there?
They need to be face
that
up?
play with face down?
Oh, these all flip
No,
up.
those are always face up.
Oh.
It's not designed to
Mine
be
are,
a
mine
memory
are
game.
face up.
Look at me being all
So everybody knows.
secretive.
Just so everybody knows I did it right.
Jeff, the intrigue cards that are unlocked as stretch goals are in the pledge. Sorry if that's confusing. There's intrigue cards from the first game. So if you have the Kickstarter edition of the game, you have what we call intrigue cards 1. It's the set of 11 cards. If that's not clear, let me know. I can try to reword that.
Yeah, because the original came with a bunch of intrigue cards, right? And
Yeah, there were 11 of them.
then,
They're just, if you bought it on Amazon, you wouldn't have those.
right. The intrigue cards are cool. We're not playing this in this round. But yeah, they give like a small little rule set, which is, like an extra little rule, like you can't attack certain places or certain things or whatever. It's kind of a nice little like variation to the game.
Gosh, do I want to build or do I want to tax?
I don't know.
I need to tax stuff, I think.
Sure.
I'm pretty.
You're so close to filling your boat.
I
Yeah,
am.
well, you gotta, if you get the, you gotta get 4 more things.
Yeah.
So, Loopy, yes, there is a lore behind the game. This is based in the secession crisis of the 11th century in Kievan Rus after real events where a leader of this city-state, his name was Vladimir the Great, died. And he had a lot of children that fought for control of the kingdom for a period of about 30 years. And this is where it was more Game of Thrones style, where it wasn't all-out warfare. It was more of the subtleties of politics and backstabbing people and trying to position and jockey for control. So you play as historic characters trying to amass your advisors and your troops to help you win control in the land. And some of the things we implement in the game, such as how scoring works, are all based off of some historical items. So, for example, there was a lot of literature written about people that praised their good things that they did, even though they did a lot of bad things too. So the deed cards, for example, you score points for those because people wrote about the things that were good, even though you did things later that may have canceled out some of those. You still made your mark on history.
I'm going to go ahead and
I hate that our audio's bad. There's
take
just no sound.
a card with this. Alright.
So when we played this with 4 people, you should have seen how much, like every
I'm
square
gonna
inch of this
kill
table was taken up. It was pretty
These 2
amazing looking.
people for Peacemaker.
I
So
should've
that
done
is
that.
kill 2 people in 1 ruled region, and I get to draw 2.
Killing
pick 1.
people already? What the heck's going on? Are you kidding me,
Option, pick
Randy?
1.
Seriously? Randy just shoved all my guys down, so now I have to like pay to. Oh, I'm trying not to be crabby at him.
You're up, girl.
Thanks, Loopy. Appreciate it.
Buster 1 coin.
Please be quiet. Where's my guys? Are these
Buster
dead
the
then?
Rogarum. Yeah.
I can use them now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 players is different than 3, as Sandra mentioned. You actually use the same side of the strategy board, not the one they're playing with, the
Okay.
back side, but the total number of advisors are the same between 3 and 4 players. Or, they're not exactly the same, but they're very close.
So you get a choice between build and move because your guys have 2 on them.
Move first. So I've got up to 3 movement here. I'm gonna go. This is tough. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3.
What is this on adjacent regions? So if I have what? Buildings in adjacent regions?
Yeah, so you have 4 adjacent regions currently.
So if I just get 1 more, then I'll be good to go on that.
Yeah, and any region that's currently on the board would be adjacent for you.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yep.
So I'm taking these.
Actually,
My
I'm
2
gonna
boots.
just move there instead.
So 2 boots.
Okay.
Let me think for a second.
You can think all you want.
Loopy, maybe one of these times
That
if I
takes 2
ever play
just to
video
go under
games
there.
again, I'll check it out. I usually don't make time for video games.
I don't have the patience for video games. There's like 3 games that I would play, and Man, I don't know what it is. I love to watch people play video games. I could sit there and watch. Randy got Laura Croft. Gosh, what is her thing? What is
Tomb Raider?
Tomb Raider, yeah. And I just was so into that, and you stopped playing it. Why did you stop playing
I
that?
played it a lot and I got bored.
I was having fun watching it.
Yeah. Attack.
Attack!
Coin.
For a coin. Gosh, I want to smack you right now with love.
Ellen, keep in mind you have 4 deeds left, and if you want to accomplish all of them, you're not going to be able to
I
at this
keep
point. But you're
forgetting
going
to do it. I keep forgetting to
You
do
can
it.
do that Master Beekeeper.
Yeah, Master Beekeeper. I'm gonna do that right now before I forget.
Oh, you did do one.
What?
I thought she
I
did.
did
Master
not
But
do
she
it.
didn't have that
I didn't
D
have the card yet.
Or not the D card, the I always forget what the dang blue cards are called. Trade. No? I don't think that's right.
Oh, you're talking about the
Scheme,
cards.
yes,
Scheme.
there we go.
So I'm paying the scheme card.
Yes.
I'm paying the honeycomb.
Scheme card goes for you.
I'm paying the what?
Scheme card.
I'm paying this, and now I get these 2 dang points.
Yep. I just-
Yikes, dude.
I mean, it technically goes on the top of your board. But we
Yeah,
don't
we
know
don't
what
even know. So that was. Can I say that was for my last turn? Or do you want me to
Sure.
do that?
What's the benefit? You get to build. Get 1 build point.
Oh yeah, awesome.
But you don't. The only thing you rule is here. So it's the only one that. Unless you want to.
Michael, it's unfortunate that
I
they're
couldn't
out of their
build in here.
builds, so maybe they're not going to build a stables for you.
I
Sorry,
couldn't build
Michael.
in here, Randy?
You can, but it takes 2 build points.
And I only have 1 or something. Oh
You actually have a majority here, but there's already 3 buildings here, isn't there?
no.
What
Where did
happened
that
to
1
the other
go?
building?
I don't know.
Oh, right here.
Oh, gee whiz.
That was from the earthquake. The Great Kiev earthquake. That takes 2 also.
Which one doesn't take
This
2?
one.
Great. Golly, man, they got nothing
You could
done that
build. I
wanted.
mean, you could build the stable.
Yeah, why don't we
gives you
build a dang
movement
stable?
points.
You know what? I'm
You could
doing
build a
this.
stable and get movement points.
This is for you, Michael. Ready? Here comes my dang stable. There it is.
Yep.
I'm putting it here.
Yep, and you get up to 3 movement points
Up to
for any of the
3.
troops in that region.
Oh man, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Do I have majority in this?
Nope. You only got 2 people.
Oh, the biscuit eater.
By the way, Randy, did you take a victory point token earlier after you defeated the
I did.
Rebel
I did,
faction?
yes.
Okay,
So,
great.
hey,
I just can't see it on
Yeah,
the
it's
table.
over
moving
here.
into
I
here
can
is
see
2, Randall, James.
Huh?
1, 2.
That'd be 2 to move into there.
Can I do that?
You sure?
Because how many move points? And then I have 1 more move point.
Wow, thanks, Michael. And Michael did say now
Let's
that
get
you
move
built the
points.
stables, he may as well leave because you've accomplished what he set out to
Michael,
watch.
leave and
But
go
he's
down.
going to stay.
You can only use the movement points in the region that you built the tavern in. So you can move these.
Stables in.
Yeah, stable. So will
Yeah,
this still
stable,
be an
excuse me,
adjacent
whatever.
region though? Like, if I'm not controlling it, it's still like gonna count as this? 1,
Buildings?
2, 3, 4.
You only have 4 adjacent buildings.
I wanted to,
Better half reviews, yes. Sorry, I apologize. We had some video and then some audio issues, and ultimately
is this
Decided
working
that-
for me?
we just needed to proceed on, even though there were some audio issues.
Do I have this yet? One.
Poland? No, you have to have majority in this
2,
one too.
3. There.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Novgorod.
Thanks for
Oh, do I
explaining
have it?
more about
Yes.
Crusader Kings
Yes!
3, Luffy.
Can I fulfill it now, basically?
Yeah.
Yes! I fulfilled another card! And it was worth 2 points!
So technically, you were doing that one in your last one, right?
Yes.
All right. Me.
That was exciting. Sorry about that, guys. I had to think something out.
Okay.
With my brain
We're going
juices.
to do something cray here. I'm gonna muster first of all.
Oh my gosh, better have
That
reviews.
gives me 3
Hello.
people.
Hope you're doing well, and I'm so excited that you're going to play that game.
I'm really mad that you're like taking over
Michael.
all my
I'm
towns
glad you
here.
got a copy. Awesome.
I feel pretty good about my position in life right
I'm
now.
gonna go ahead and use one of these here, which is attack. I'm gonna attack your lone guy here, which I get automatically.
That's
I
a
do have to
woman,
draw one,
and how dare you?
and I'm safe. And I'm going to try to capture her, which I am not safe. Kirk, remind me, because I have not encountered this quite yet. I the first card I drew was a safety, so I didn't lose the guy. But then I drew another card to try to capture her, and that was a troop card.
Then you both just get removed as if
So we do get.
she gets
so I get
defeated
removed.
normally and you lose.
Okay, I do get removed anyway.
So my lady is gone.
And I didn't successfully
Yeah,
capture them,
You could muster.
right?
You did not successfully capture.
Yeah.
So how can I get her back?
You can muster
If you
her
muster
as a
her.
regular.
Because I am already missing her. We really bonded, Kirk,
I don't
over
think
this
you can
last
really
10 hours of the stream.
And by the way, for
My
those
turn?
wondering why the
My turn?
leader base was falling off, they're 3D printed for the prototype, and it's not 100% the same size as the final production miniatures. So the leader bases will fit on the new leaders,
I'm
just like
gonna
the base.
attack something here.
I'm gonna finish this card. I forgot to do that. I'll do that with the boon and that. Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
is it more appropriate for me to attack you or a rebel at this point?
You
Well,
go
you're
up on
Yeah.
the track.
More points.
Okay,
to
you're
get
right. So
that.
I'm gonna attack Randy. I might die, but at least I go up on the track.
Oh, but
Oh.
Randy, you forgot to advance after
you
you
were right,
attacked
Nick
Randy.
Bear.
Come on, Kurt. Why did you tell him
I
that?
was just remember that. Yeah.
He was gonna remember in 1
Oh,
second,
that's
anyways.
fine. I'm so smart.
So where should I attack you then? Here, I guess? I don't know. Sure. Dead.
Okay.
Oh,
You get a bear.
right onto the ground. Sorry. I get a bear skin.
And
Ooh,
you
and I
have to
filled
draw
with
cards
things,
so
which
you die.
means nothing.
No, that'll get you a coin. That means nothing. Yes, at this point.
Did you draw from this recently?
I drew from it. Yes.
Because I put something back that I don't want to see. Oh, come on, Kirk!
You used up all your luck at the beginning of the game, so you lose the guy as well.
Seriously. Totally blaming
That was
you.
just your one attack, right? Alright, then I've got a muster 2. Man, you really screwed up.
Yeah, you know what?
Everything here for
Sanders
me.
Shippers says also the scores can be very tight.
Yeah, I've always found that the scores are within a few points of each other.
Totally. And I actually love it as a low scoring game. For some reason, that usually bothers me. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of games out there that I'm like, I don't like seeing not a bunch of reward for doing certain
I'm going
things.
to
I love
attack
Trajan is
you.
like super point salad,
I'm gonna
and this
trade
one
in.
is not. But it does feel so good when
One
you
of
do
the
get to that
rebels,
point because
2
you worked so
coins.
hard for it.
To do this.
If that makes any sense. I could be
So
totally
I'm going to
wrong on
attack
that.
you here. I'm going to go ahead and take
Would you
one of
leave
those
my
off.
guys alone?
We tied, so I actually have to draw like 3 cards for this.
I hope you
One.
die, sweetheart.
2,
Kirk?
3.
Yes.
I die. But at this point, then I can try to capture you, which I will try, and I do capture you.
Wait, if you died, you can't.
Oh, no,
Yes.
okay. That's right. That's right. When it's in the first one.
It's like the voice of an angel. Wait, you can't?
I had to draw 3 cards. That was so stupid. That's okay. It's okay.
Okay, what's happening now? This is my
You
last
go
person
up
I'm
on this,
attacking.
so-
I'm sorry, Randy, that it didn't work out for you to get another capture.
Sorry.
Kirk, don't ever apologize for
You
that.
just-
Oh, I took blue.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I swear I had extra attacks left.
I was looking at it, like, why is that look different down there? Okay, taxing, yay. What's the dang
Well, you can
point?
try to. What's the next one? 9 goods? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 goods. So if you can get 2 more
Yay.
goods somehow,
Can
you
I
get
get
this one,
Yeah.
and then you can get 2 tax points.
What?
Oh, see, you don't rule this one either. That would cost you 2 just for that one.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How do I get it? There's gotta be a way. I've got people everywhere. What about this guy? I rule this.
You do. You would get a fish, but that's only 1 tax point.
Okay.
You need
What about this wood?
1 more. That doesn't fill up anything else on your board, unfortunately.
Are you kidding me?
You need
This
one
is
more.
actually making me a
You're
little
1
upset.
tax point short.
Wait. What about if I do something up here?
Can you accomplish one of your deeds?
Yes, I think so.
None of them have taxes on them, but yeah.
Okay.
But I can get rid of 3 guys and get a point.
Sure. What does that say?
Just get rid of
different
3 guys.
regions. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. Tell me what the best ones are. 1.
Any of them that you want.
Well,
What?
Ellen, if you attack rebels, if you were to use your a conversion token to remove one of your defeated rebels and 2 coins, and you attack a rebel, you might randomly get a resource you need to help you
That's
advance.
true.
Oh my gosh, Kirk is a genius.
You only need one. You
Okay,
need a rock
show me
or
how.
a
Walk
honeycomb.
me through how to do
You
this.
just have to do this. Get rid
Okay,
of one of
so
your
this-
rebels.
this goes
2
away.
coins.
Which is
Flip that token over.
it's all I got. It's all I got.
That's all cool.
It's all I got.
They don't want to attack back
Okay.
anymore because
They don't wanna attack
I
back?
have destroyed the
Yes,
uprising.
I'm doing this.
Nope, you don't
What?
have to.
What am
You
I
just
doing?
pick which. You have a 1 in 3. Well, not even a 1 in 3 chance because you don't know what's in the bottom of them. But what is it?
Please be something I need. It's a wood.
Oh,
Kirk, why did you tell me to do that?
well, you know.
Poor Kirk.
I didn't tell you.
Kirk, you do not. I'm sorry. This is how I play games. I just yell at everybody. But seriously though, could I do this still?
Yeah.
This is my turn. Okay, 1. I don't know.
Different
Whatever.
ones.
2. 3.
Well, this is like Tenet. You can just go backwards and retake your turn.
Okay, so I get this card.
I watched that movie last night. I am still confused
I
by
fell asleep, so I'm
Oh,
even more
Tenet?
confused. But it's not.
You fell asleep
Yeah,
watching it?
it was
was
late. I
so
knew
tired.
I was super tired already.
We were
I
on our
told
way to
Ellen,
the
I said, "There's
theater.
no way I'm gonna make it through this movie, no matter what it is."
Yeah, I knew he was gonna go.
So y'all went last night too. That's really
We went
cool.
on
we went-
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
But Kirk, what do you think about it?
I,
All right,
at
attack.
face value, I don't like it as much as some other Christopher
Okay.
Nolan films, but I think it's because I'm so confused right now.
Okay.
Right.
I followed everything, and I got the biggest kick out of that movie. It reminds me of Inception, just kind of that trippy, weird, kind of like what is happening. It's like, is this reality? It was really cool.
I have 2
Yeah,
attack points.
It was
Can
kind of
attack
like
you
Day
here.
After Tomorrow. mixed
Yeah,
with Inception.
yeah, there you go.
So I'm safe.
I mean, I think
Try
I'll
to
probably like
capture
more
you.
with repeat watches later. I just had a hard time
Captured.
tracking with audio sometimes to understand what's being said. It was kind of like Bane in
Oh.
Dark Knight Rises in the theater where it was hard to
Oh,
hear.
that one guy with his mask on.
Gotham
Forget it.
Fire.
He said like 2 full sentences, and I was like, what? And I just made it up in my head. I was like, he's gonna go get ice cream. That's what he said.
I've got an interesting. Well, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go up on here. I get 2 woods.
Wait, don't I get to go up because I attacked something?
Yeah.
Yay.
Get 2 woods,
That's right, nice.
and then
Ruby says, can we
I have
still
one more
get in on the
attack.
pledge? I don't know if you saw that.
yeah, it's still alive.
No, I didn't see that. Yes, it's still live.
I'm gonna go ahead and attack him.
Ricardo.
Let me share a link here.
He's like, I love how Stan is still blessing us with his presence.
Yeah, I know he's frozen there, but that's because once he's gone, I can't
He's
take him off.
frozen in
I guess I could turn it
No,
off.
Stan's awesome there. Leave him.
All right, fine. We have the ghost of Stan. The ghost of Stan.
What's happening?
I'm gonna do the peace treaty, which is I'm gonna release one of my prisoners, and I have to pay 2 coins. And then do I have to get rid of one of my guys? I'm assuming is what that means. So I will get rid of him and complete that. I do have these, which I forgot all about.
What in the world is... Okay, so
So I
this is
can
our
tax
last...
some
Is this
stuff.
everything? This is the last
I'm
everything?
gonna go ahead
Yes?
and spend a coin
Yeah, this is the
to
last
do 2
action. of the game.
taxes.
Gosh, babe,
So we're gonna
seriously.
do
This
this.
is what annoys... When we play games, his last turn or 2, like his last 2 turns, like, hold on, I
9.
can do this,
And then I can
and now I
tax
can do this, and it just goes on and on
something
and on.
else, which doesn't much matter. I
And he's
guess
in his
I'll
own little
tax
world, what's happening?
this, and I'll get a coin just for the heck of it. And
Are you done?
I could build something as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and build something with a build point, which is a rock and any random good. So I'll do that. And that will let me build a building, and I will build, I don't know, what should I build?
Oh my gosh. Just finish your turn.
Oh, you could build a tavern.
I
And get
think
tax
I
points.
think I'm gonna build a tavern. I need to
Kurt,
build
don't
it
help
here
him.
though,
We talked
which
about
only
this.
gives me what 1 point, right?
Or logging camp.
Gives me 1 point. Yeah,
Hey,
no, I'm
Tony.
not building the logging
Oh,
camp. That will
wait.
help Ellen out.
Oh,
That's why I was trying to see if I could sneak that in there.
oh, I was gonna build that earlier because I got all this
And then I can
wood.
play the top card from there, which actually lets me tax 2 more times.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, but you actually already schemed those, so you're not gonna be able to do that. Did you already play a scheme from your hand?
But the tavern lets me play the top card of the scheme card.
If you haven't
Oh,
already
okay, I haven't
played
already.
one this
Well, I don't
turn.
need to tax it anyway. But
Oh my gosh. Could I have done this, Randy? Use a wood and a...
to
What?
build,
Yeah, to build the log thing, because I have all this dang wood.
well, you don't rule anything.
Well, I don't anymore.
Oh, you'd rule this. I guess you could.
Could I sneak that in there?
I'll let you mulligan. Sure.
Yay! Okay, but that's a bag. I don't have a bag of stuff.
It's a random good.
Oh. All right. So I'm not gonna get the thing in my boat anyway. So how about these two?
Sure.
Or how many woods
Yeah,
do you
that
have?
works. Oh yeah, you would need. Yeah, you would. Oh
It's
yeah,
not gonna
if
work
you spend
anyway.
a wood, you'd have to spend a rock. Do like a
Spend
rock
your
kind of fish.
stone.
Oh
or
yeah, my
something,
stone. Yeah, Kirk.
You do have a boon
That's
token
the
that you didn't
beauty.
get for your woods too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So
So
you
I'll
could
do
use
these
you
two.
could use a boon token and a rock, sure.
You're not gonna get any last second wood, are you? Or
No,
anything
I can't. I'm
stupid
done.
like that?
Not stuff. Build your logging camp there.
Yeah, baby.
And you also get a wood and 2 coins.
Yes, this is the best day of my life. Swear I was born right in the doorway. Okay.
So you just goes over there
Oh.
for everybody. All right, and that should do it. So we'll go
What's
to
the game,
the
y'all?
advanced claim markers here for the last time.
Yeah.
I now roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Who cares?
regions. So you go up to there.
Nobody cares.
Ellen does not rule that many. That's okay, because she can't go down. Buildings. I own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 adjacent buildings. So I jump up to there. Ellen's got a 1, 2, 3, 4. So you stay there.
Come on.
Trade. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. I was able to get 9 at the last second there.
So happy for you.
That last turn was pretty good for me.
Yeah, that's great. That is so. I'm gonna smack you in a second. You guys don't understand how many times I have to hear that.
I believe I didn't check the game end things here. I usually have that.
That's okay, Jeff. Yeah. Just
Do you have the
tell her
rule
to
book on that
consult
side?
me.
Just to make sure I'm not missing any end game
Kirk
stuff.
is also
No,
is
actual
sitting
rule book.
here. Can you ask Kirk?
I don't know if Kirk remembers every single end game cleanup
Why
step.
don't you ask him?
Probably I do.
Yeah, ask him. Put him to the test. I want
Put
to
him
know
to
if
the
he
test?
knows.
I'm
No,
looking
seriously,
for
ask him. I want to see if he knows.
Okay. What's the end of the game, Kirk? We have to do the claim tracks, which you did. Or fact track.
You
Yeah,
just
'cause
do.
you just skip the rest of the other stuff, right?
You just do the claim
Although it
track.
wasn't a final income tracker. Income was what I was
You
doing.
knew.
Double check.
No.
Kirk the genius.
All right, so that is
there's not.
the point. So I've got 15, 18 for that, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 22, and I've got 3 tokens that I was able to get during
It's
the
safe
game.
to say I did not win,
25.
everybody.
And then finish in first place on the rule track, which I did. So that's 27 points for moi. So again, we count
That's a solid
all of these
score.
points. We count this up, any of these agendas that we have here, the deeds, and then your secret objective.
Oh crap!
So
I forgot
Ellen, you've
about
got
that.
9, 10, and
I
then
didn't get that one.
finish in first place on
Yeah,
the warfare
no.
track.
Thank you.
And then how many
Thanks.
of those do you have?
5.
5, so it's 9, that's 14, plus 2 is 16. There you go. Ellen is upset with me, but that is okay.
The score is 16 to 27.
Yeah. Yes, it is, unfortunately. I had a really good last round.
Give me your phone. Check on what our past scores
My
were.
phone's
'Cause
up there. My phone is being used as a
I
camera.
think the last time we played this, I got like 23. I had a super
Yeah, you had a good round.
high score
Yeah.
the last time. 16? What the ever living heck? Okay, Kirk,
I think you got distracted by the fire in the background from.
I think that's what it
totally
was.
what it is. Now I'm gonna have to
She
call
was living in
Stan.
fear that that fire was going to spread to her
I
house.
just kept looking out of the corner of my eye. I was like, that fire's burning.
Well, Loopy
Mark, to your
is all
question,
in.
2-player with the AI, solo mode you play against an AI. I think you might be asking, can you play 2 players and add an AI as a third? And no, the game is not supporting that.
Oh, interesting. Do you want to put us on big screen maybe?
Oh,
Does that not
yes,
matter?
yes, we can do
I
that.
don't know how to. Okay.
And with Roast and Stan. Stan looks like he's
Everybody
that
do the
meme
Stan.
where
This
he's
is the
supposed to
Stan.
glitter.
Yeah.
A little glitter meme where you like.
I think it's like the salt.
Did you? Oh, Randy, did you get your point from Vici or not?
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay,
Kirk.
it's the 28. 28, Kirk.
We are
Thank you.
officially not friends.
Oh, but Ellen does get 1 point for having the most, so it's 28 to 17.
Oh,
There you go.
that makes it
Wash.
a little better.
Wash is all I have to
Wash.
say.
Guys, can I tell you a story? Once upon a time, I've never scored that poorly in this game, ever. That was sickening. But, that said, did I have a blast?
help.
Yes. Is that the most important thing?
You know what? You could actually.
No, winning is.
Michael had you build the stables, so I mean, maybe Michael is partially
Michael!
responsible for it too.
That's right.
Why? Did I
Guys,
listen to him? It's such a fun game.
all everything aside, seriously,
Yeah.
Rurik, as we've already mentioned, has made our top game of 2019,
Yeah.
and this expansion is perfect. I think for this game, I really do it. Like not being like we're very much Euro gamers, so
Yeah.
just we like to play cards against each other, kind of take that thing. But like the actual like battling and stuff, it's just like never on the forefront of my mind to necessarily use that as an option of a winning condition when it's in the game.
Right.
But the things that this adds that kind of pushes you in that direction is excellent. And I think that's my favorite part of it is just all the extra things that the rebels do, and then the chance to capture rebels and capture your opponents and things. I think it's just that, and then these extra little reward things on the side here. All those things are just enough to make me want to go for like a battle scheme in some games that we play.
Right.
The epic structures are super neat as well. I mean, everything about. I mean, there's not an expansion here that I don't like playing with, and I do appreciate that all of the modules just you can use them all together.
Mm-hmm. Which
You know,
is
some
what we
games
did. This
it
is
just feels
everything, right?
just yeah. It's sometimes using all the modules in a game just feels too conjointed or there's just too much. I think it's great. I think it's great to play with them all, or just kind of piecemeal unless you choose. It's really solid.
Definitely. And I do like that you can live peaceably in the same region or attack people if you want. I mean, my ending goal. Oh, the most attack points in the game. Yeah, right. Look at this. Are you kidding me? But it was still cool because I could just kind of like sneak in and attack here or there. Even if I died, you still go up on the track. This game is very rewarding in that way. And like I was saying over here, when you go up, you just stay there. You don't go down. There's not, are there negative points in this game anywhere? I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
No.
So just me, and for how low the game scores, it feels good to like once you achieve this goal, you're staying there. I really appreciate that. It
When you
doesn't
don't
make
go
me.
back down.
Yeah, that kind of stuff stresses me out. Yeah, stresses me out.
I wasn't even planning on really warring, but I knew that I looked at these three things here and I go, I'm not going to get more trade. I might get one more building. My best chance of getting up on these tracks is doing the rules. I'm like, I'm just going to try to spread out and attack as much as I can.
Kirk, you sat here and watched this. What do you think my main problem was? Like, what did I do so, like...
Don't think you moved into the proper regions at the right time to expand.
Why did you tell me to?
I only just blamed everybody, Kirk. You just gotta get used to it.
So there was a time when you chose to move into Randy's region that he put the city gate in. It was going to be hard to go into. He was trying to make a stranglehold. You maybe would have done better to move into a different region first that he was in and was easier to move into and start doing things.
But I wanted to feel big and powerful.
But that city gate's so pretty looking, Kirk. I mean, it's so inviting.
I like it.
The gates are wide
That's
open.
true.
So
I wanted to
just
see
come
it.
in. We're travelers.
Like,
That is true.
Singing to me, man.
Jeff asked, so when introducing new players, start with the base game or throw in the expansion right away?
Base game.
The base game for sure, but like a couple of these little modules, like having the extra little buildings, the taverns, and
Stables.
Jeez. I think that's like a small thing you can kind of introduce. Obviously, there's the starting cards that we play with. That's kind of a small thing. In fact, the rulebook even suggests there's like a certain amount of pieces in here, and I won't remember all these, but there's a certain amount of pieces in here that they say, hey, just throw these into the base game right away, because it's basically like extra content onto the base game. So you can actually get the expansion and kind of use some of the components without changing the game up at all, mechanics wise.
Coin.
So the answer is, yeah, actually the expansion you can use right away.
So, in our experience, if you teach people with the core content, you're pretty safe to teach them right away. The only difficult thing to teach, it's not very difficult, is the inheritance card gives them an actual choice at the beginning, and if they don't know what they're trying to do, you could just skip that part. But adding the stables and taverns feels really natural. The trade boon tokens and warfare reward tokens also just come really naturally. You don't need to explain them at the beginning. And one of my favorite things about teaching games to people, if you can logically teach something as it happens, throughout the game and not have to front load it, and those elements all play well with the core content, so it's not overwhelming as far as rules density.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I don't know. I feel like you might want to get a base. I mean, you were saying there's a few things to sprinkle, and that's fine. But my main reason for being like, just play a base game first is because of the auction programming. Because once you start playing, you're going to be like, whoa, wait, what? And just figuring that out, I felt like it took me a game of doing that to understand how to like use the coins when needed.
And making
and
sure
hold
that you
back
have
on
them in the
them.
right order that you want to, order of operations.
Yeah,
you know.
that was the first thing. I messed up on the first thing.
But especially the stuff that Kirk mentioned, those are literally things that just gives you an extra bonus when you're doing something that you would normally do in the base game anyway.
Yeah.
So those are kind of, in my mind, just no-brainers to add.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, so for people who've never played before, I wouldn't play with the Warfare module because that does change things up quite a bit on decision making. And the Rebel factions make the game more challenging, and that might lead to players feeling like they can do less because they're not familiar how to work the board. I'd say the epic structures, if you were to pick just one of the modules to play with new players, if you pick the right set of those cards, it could be okay, but it still might be too many options. They're already going to be thinking about 5 buildings to build, and you'd be adding 3 to 5 more. So I probably still would just leave all of them except core content out.
No, I'm with you there.
I'm in agreement.
This auction programming board is a mind cruncher for the first couple of rounds for sure.
You know what, Randy? I truly felt like I was doing really well, like for half the game.
You were up on like all
I
the
know.
tracks that were
I was like, I got this, sons. I got it.
I was just a late bloomer, I guess.
Okay. Literally every game ever.
All right, guys. Is there any other questions, quick, before we call this one closed? We're happy to mention or talk about anything else.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll shut her down.
Yeah.
Again, we had Stan on, who's frozen Stan now because he had to leave a little bit before the stream. Got his glitter hand going. Stan is the designer of the game, and I'm sure if you reached out to him on social media, he'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yep.
And Kirk Dennison with 2 N's. The screen has 1 N.
He even asked Randy to change it before the
I
stream.
changed the other one, and I forgot that I had 2 different overlays. So
We're just tacky that way. We don't care that much about our guests.
Kirk is the publisher with Peacekeeper Games, and I'm sure Kirk is more than happy to answer any questions as well.
Absolutely. Ricardo says, I'm honestly the most excited about trying out all the new abilities.
Yeah, we've tried out, we've played the expansions twice with the epic structures.
Yeah.
And I think we've played with 6 different epic structures so far. And that's like half of what you get. Well, we don't want to say how many necessarily, because there might be some to come.
I caught myself.
So the stretch goals.
I caught myself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, okay.
That's awesome, Loopy. He's like, thanks guys, this was great. This wasn't on my radar before. And it really opened my eyes. Great game.
Yeah, it's a good one on Kickstarter now, so go check that out. Rurik, Stone and Blade is the expansion.
Yeah.
And again, guys, thank you all for joining us. And
thank you for staying with us, because I think we sound like crap right now, right? Don't we sound really bad?
Some kind of echoing of some kind.
We sound bad, and we had to restart the stream.
Well, we restarted the stream twice.
At least 3 people have said that they want you to hear what you sound like, so I guess they're saying your homework is to see what you sound like later. So.
Yeah, I heard that, and like I said, we're using all the exact same settings that we have on every one of our other streams, and for whatever reason, it decided to not function today. Mm-hmm. But
I'm just giving you a hard time because that's
I understand.
It's okay.
All right, guys. Again, thank you, and
thank you, Randy.
we will see you guys next time.